Yeah, so So without further ado, I would like to kickstart today's IoT CTO Roundtable. And my name is Michael Kimathi. You can call me MK anytime. From Africa Stocking. And this is hosted in collaboration with Impact Masters. So we consider our guest today also not only an electrical engineer, a CTO, but also an impact master in the ecosystem. And we really value his knowledge, and we thank him for sharing it with us. So without further ado, I would like us to welcome Engineer Peter Mbari from Blink Electrics Limited with a mighty loud of applause. Thank you so much. Peter Mbari, engineer, is an electronics engineer with a passion to create technology for the benefit of humanity. But it is a story to tell. But before he just comes in, for those who are not familiar with Africa Stocking is a Pan-African company providing communication, CPaaS, that is communication platform as a service, connecting communication with the telco, that is USSD, airtime, mobile data, voice, and now the new kids on the block, chat API, that is WhatsApp API, Telegram, and Messenger, and Insight API, starting with SIM-swap API. You can find it on africastocking.com, or if you're on the community page, there is documentation. You can start from there. So without further ado, how are you, Mr. Peter?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for gracing our session. And I would like to keep it a bit technical, but also try to break it down so that any CTO, any senior engineer listening to us or joining us today can be able to really understand what is this IoT, as well as what does it mean to build an IoT scalable business, and what does that entail. So we'll delve into that, but I would like to know your story as an engineer. I know you did not start as a CTO. So please, indulge us, where did all this start?
Okay, so I'm a resident of Nairobi right now, but originally I'm from Tetu. I'm from Tetu constituency. That's my home. That's where I grew up. And I was very lucky when I was in high school that there was a neighbor next door who was repairing radios. And so I would always hang around him and see what he's doing. So it so happened that I moved back home from a school that is on Gong Road after it became impossible for me to stay in a boarding school. So I was expelled from school. And so while I was at home thinking what the next step will be, between May and November, I was always hanging out with this fundi and doing things with him. And then out of curiosity, I started helping him. We would take a coin, a 10-cent coin, the Kingotore, and we would, put it on a hanger wire, put it in the fire, and then use it as a solder iron.
Oh, nice.
So that's how it started.
Yes.
So I would help him repair the radios. And then when I went to school, there was the science club. So I got very interested in the science club, and I brought my first simple project. I thought, usually I would miss the alarms in the morning. The Casio watches are not loud enough. So I would always miss the alarms in the morning. And I had in my house a small rig to amplify that sound so that I can hear it better in the morning so I don't miss it. So I took the same project and I took it to Science Congress as an entry for a burglar alarm. So I had some, some strips of metal that would trip the watch to make the melody, and that would sound as the burglar alarm. So now, that's the progression. I got a position 4 at the Zonos.
Okay.
So I saw, okay, so this is actually something. And then when I was there, I met some other guys who had other projects. They were doing much more advanced things. But myself, I was, quite, at that point, I was just curious.
Yes.
So once I got position 4, I was like, there's no way I have another chance and I don't win. So from that point, I went all in. I went to the library, looked for all the books that I could find in electronics, tried to understand the transistor, the resistors, how they work together.
Yeah.
The school was very supportive. During the time when people would go for games, myself, I had the chance to go to the lab.
Yes.
So I'd go in the lab in the evening, and I would be there, spending like 2 hours every day doing electronics. I would buy components from town. The school provided the money. And then as I now went to the other competition, at the other levels, I was getting better and better. Every time I was
This still
always
in high
better.
school?
Yes, that's high school. That's the project that was number 4.
Yes.
So in every competition that I went, I was always winning. So that year was 2003. I took the national prize for physics exhibits.
Oh.
Yes. From that simple project, going through the, and learning electronics on my own, I took the national prize. That gave me a lot of, confidence. So I kept on pursuing electronics even further. There was a yellow book in the library. I can't remember the name, but it had all the basics. So I started now learning about gates, how to build gates with discrete components, the logic gates using a transistor, 2 resistors, add an extra signal, coupled with another transistor. So in Form 4, I decided to make it a digital burglar alarm system.
Yeah.
Because now, when I'd finished, all the different functions were independent. So there's a function for detecting flooding. So there are probes. If the water rises to that level, it would make a melody. There was the door sensor. They were all independent. So at Form 4, I decided, now that this has come this far, let me build it to the next level. So I started to make it digital. Now I would make gates on a bed of nails. The tack nails that they use for, usually they're used for making these tire shoes.
Yes.
If you know Nyamoga, the tire shoes they make.
Tack nails.
Tack nails.
Yeah.
So tack nails, would put them on a piece of wood, and then would file the top, and then would solder components on top of them.
Wow.
By then, I didn't have a breadboard and all those other fancy components.
Which year is this?
This is the year 2004, 2003.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And it's in high school?
It's in high school. I'm doing all this by myself.
Yeah.
By the time I was doing those components, our physics teacher already had decided he's not teaching us electricity, so he gave me that role.
To teach other people?
To teach my class electricity, as well as the Form 3 class.
Which school was this?
It is a day school in Nyeri. It's called Kireti Secondary School.
Yeah, I know Kireti.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kireti Secondary School, in my year,
Yeah.
I taught my class electrical circuit theory and those high school things.
Yes.
But I knew much more. So
For you, it was more practical.
it was very practical. Yeah. I knew things. I could just see solutions, and I could think of circuits and solve them. And I was actually building solutions based on my own knowledge. By the time I was leaving high school, of course, the second year I went all the way to nationals again. But this time I found the same judges from the previous year. And they knew me. And I had built something way more complex than anyone, at my stage could do.
Yes.
So that year I didn't get anything. I didn't even get a certificate of participation. It was in Garissa High School. I felt really bad. You know, I actually cried.
You were demotivated?
No, I cried because I felt bad. I should have won something, or even the certificate of participation.
Yeah.
But even that I didn't get.
So do you think these teachers, were not fair?
They were not fair because, you should try and find out who this guy is before you disqualify them.
Yeah.
Find out who they are and what their story is. Because I think sometimes some people do some things, some feats that are beyond the imagination of the normal mwananchi wa kawaida.
Yes.
And we might throw these guys away thinking that they probably had someone do it for them.
Yeah.
Yet these guys actually put in the effort, they put in the time, only to be disqualified because what they present is way beyond what our imaginations can hold.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a point of demotivation.
Yeah.
But I'd already tasted victory. You see, I'd won the previous year.
National.
And during that year, as I was doing these digital devices, I was also building amplifiers for my fellow, village mates and students. So every boy who wanted an amplifier for a few hundred, I would put it together for them, put it in a box.
Yeah.
You see, back then we used to take the 20-liter jerry can, cut it,
That was the
stick
boom
a
box.
woofer there,
Yeah.
and then, if you have a powerful enough amplifier,
Yeah.
you have some good music. So that used to be my business on the side, and I knew it was working because I was already making money. So the demotivation was just a little bit.
Yes.
And then, even then, the school amplifier we were using for entertainment and for public address, I built that myself.
Yeah.
So there is no amount of...
Did you build it and then sell it to the school, or?
I asked the school to sponsor the components.
Oh, okay.
So I used it as a project to test my muscle.
Passion project.
So I did it. I was happy, and I came out of school. I was a bright student. I scored my A's, and I.
What did your students score? From 3s and from 4s?
All the students actually. Our class had a very good number of A's. For the first time in history, that school had 3 straight A's.
Yes.
Mine and 2 other guys.
Yeah.
And there was like 8 A minus, a lot of B plus. That was a year when the school performed very different. You see, there was something that happened when I joined the school. It so happened that I was a bright student.
Yes.
Where I had been, we were very restricted.
So you were expelled from another high school?
Yes, I was expelled because I was always vocal. I was asking for things. I
You
was
were
asking,
questioning the authority?
Yes, I was questioning authority.
So Gen Zs, questioning did not just start with Occupy. Even I don't know if you are millennial or...
I'm millennial.
You also question. So,
It's actually okay because it gave me a chance.
Yes.
The expulsion gave me a chance now to be free.
Yes.
You see, I came from a school that didn't allow us to interact even with other schools.
Yes.
To interact in activities like games and things like that. But now the new school was different.
Yes.
It's open. You choose what to do.
Yes.
So I found myself doing electronics. I found myself...
And it's a day school. You know what is fascinating?
Yes.
I can only imagine.
It's a day school.
Nowadays, guys, for those who know day schools, they are a bit advanced. Back in the day, if you went to a day school, there was no hope for you. The reason I know Kimathi, right?
Yes, Kimathi.
Is because I think after your class, the school really performed well over time.
Yes.
And before Matiang'i happened, Minister used to announce the top schools for those who are old enough, and the top 100 students and whatnot. So when a day school actually performed really well, it was news.
Yes.
That's how I got to know Kimathi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I go to Kimathi now, you see, it's a blank canvas. I can do with it as I wish.
Yes.
So I found myself spending a lot of time in the lab. It got to a point when I was given the lab keys.
Okay.
A copy.
And now you have Form 3 to teach.
Yes, I'm teaching Form 3. I'm doing my lessons.
Yeah.
I'm doing my electronics in the evening. It was not even a burden because I was just doing it.
Did they give you a salary?
I was lucky, by then.
BOG.
For me, I was a struggling student. I don't come from a very wealthy background. And so I was also a member of the bursary club. There was a bursary club in that school.
Yes.
So what they would do, they would prioritize us. When there is a bursary from the CDF,
Yes.
we'd get letters of recommendation, we'd take it to them, we would get some money from the CDF. Then also, we would work in the school. So we would work the shamba, we would help in the kitchen, and then the monies we get, we would share among a group of students. So for me, by the time I was leaving, I had an overpayment. I even actually had to, give that to somebody else for their fees. But the school really was helping us in every way possible by keeping us in school. Like for me, were it not for that, possibly I would never have gone through high school.
Yeah.
Because even the way I joined was by a stroke of luck. You see, I'd been expelled and I'd been labeled.
Which is this school that expels people who are vocal?
For the sake of, they were good to me at some point and we had disagreed. I don't want to mention them. They know themselves. But they were actually good to me. I visited just Juicy to meet the proprietor and, just have a chat with him.
Yes.
We are very good friends.
Yes.
But let's leave that at that.
Yes.
But really, what really changed on the other side is that I was a disadvantaged student. I don't have the money. My parents don't have that money to support me. Already I've been labeled because they labeled me a drug dealer, an inciter, all those bad things that you can do. You see, when you don't know someone and he's different, you can label them anything because now you don't know how to understand this person. And again, someone will not understand why I would be so vocal against a school that was actually sponsoring me. You see? So they don't get it, that the environment itself is what is not favorable for me. But then now here I find myself in a school where it's a blank canvas. I'm there, I'm doing my best. It's being seen, it's being recognized. I ended up becoming the DH captain. That was the highest position in that school. There was no school captain. So I was in charge of food and everything, nakula vizuri. But pia,
the food was good though.
The food was good. The food was available. Actually, the food was available. That's something else. That
same maize and beans or something.
Maize and beans. But let me tell you, when you have nothing else, that is a delicacy. Yes. And then also, of course, they used to prepare it well. But I became the DH captain. It was the highest position. During mocks, the Form 4 mocks, I remember, there was one teacher, the one who brought me to the school. He's called Kimeru from my village.
Shout out to Kimeru. We do not have a good engineer in town.
So we met outside the staff room, and having had all these achievements, and now I've scored a grade equivalent to what guys in Nyeri High and what's the other school? There's a school towards Karatina, one of the big national schools.
There's also even a ladies' school.
Kagumo
High.
So Kagumo, they were comparing the grades, what I had scored in my class versus what they had scored. And they were, comparing likes for likes. Because we had never done another exam together. And he was like, Peter, you know what? If you are in Nyeri High, you would be number 3.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
big.
Yes.
Oh, for those who don't know Nyeri High, again, school used to be ranked nationally, then county, and then district. When there was a district. You guys have just, not even county actually, province. Province. So there were 7 provinces, so Central Province was one of them, and Nyeri High used to be the top school. So everyone wanted to be invited to Nyeri High. I don't know nowadays if they really perform or things have
I've not
changed.
followed up their performance, but back then, they used to be the big boys.
And then there's Mutumu. Is it Tumutumu Girls? Tumutumu Girls.
Yes.
I don't know, they also used to perform really well.
The schools really did perform well at some point, but I've been out of that scene for a long time. I don't know how they are doing.
And also the ranking actually is a bit mixed up nowadays.
Nowadays, because of failing to recognize the school as an institution,
you may never know.
That has really diluted, the way you can feel it. Because by then, schools used to be very proud of their actual school's performance, but that has dwindled over time. And now, trying to
What do you think about that, though?
I think it's bad. It erodes the pride that these institutions have. And generally, it will erode the morality of the whole group. And so you find that I think there is essence for us to recognize the institution as itself and also the students which is what we are doing now. We are recognizing more of the students generally than the institution, but that erodes the moral, the morale
And the pride,
of the whole group.
Yeah.
So, that pride needs to get back.
Yes.
Yes.
So, you get your A, and where do you go from?
You see, I'm from a very poor, family.
Yes.
That one, it's
But by
it's
the
a
time
fact.
you are graduating, you are returning the school fee. And, how many of us return school fee around here?
Having done that, it's by God's luck, because that club was established just as I joined.
Okay.
So nikaingia pale, I was made the leader immediately. I had not even, even funny the way I joined the school. I'd been home since May, from May to
So
November.
you skipped the whole term.
I skipped like
2 terms.
half of second term and most of third term. I joined them while they were about to do the final year to Form 3, final exam to Form 3.
Okay.
So the challenge was, I'd been out of school for that many months.
Yes.
And they didn't know where to put me. Do we take you back to Form 2 or do we allow you to join Form 3?
Okay.
Then a challenge was posed. Peter, can you redeem yourself here? We're going to give you the end of year exam with the current students. If you perform, you go to Form 3 with them. If you fail, you repeat.
But
of
what
course,
did you?
you can expect, what happened.
Yes.
I was number 2. Yeah.
Okay.
So I joined Form 3 straight. Yeah, and that was it.
And you became a chairman.
I was already chairman of the bursary club.
Of the bursary club.
So then I,
And the DH captain.
and the DH captain afterwards.
And National Science Congress.
Yes, I aced all of them.
Very nice. That's why you give a lot of applause, guys. Yeah. Sometimes I think also even past our high school, because I feel like high school actually also shapes us to what we do afterwards. We normally think actually the student who is it is very easy. I can attest to you guys, it's not easy. So, and I know most of you aced it, you cannot be a CTO.
Yeah.
In one way or the other you aced it, and it's good that you're here. And I'm sure, already I can relate to your journey in many ways. And so many of us here, I don't know why the square pegs are always, even if you have kids, right?
Yes.
You have kids and they're always reserved when they're young. There is not much hope. But if they are the guys who are always in trouble, always breaking things, you find your radio is dismantled, do not be quick to compare the price and the cheekiness.
Yeah.
I think it's that containment of, what God gives you as brilliance that actually keeps you cheeky. But now because maybe majority are not used to that, or maybe the society has said, okay, this is the way to live. When a kid is a kid, and I assume even high school guys are kids, including our Gen Zs, they're always questioning, they're always out there, they're always expressing themselves. Even Gen Alpha now. And things are changing because those guys are born with mobile phones.
Yes.
They know most of these things at a very early age. And for those who become fathers, please, and mothers and aunties, you need to understand from that level of this one is different. And find a way to actually understand that and nurture that. Even in our, I think, respective jobs and careers. There are those engineers who always break things. Someone will delete the database, refactor things, trying new things. It's not because they are malicious. Sometimes it's because they are like, what if I do this? So find ways to actually, and I know even some of the systems across the world, they actually even did the redundancy, actually redundancy was practiced not more than 10 years ago, after someone actually deleted GitLab database. You can imagine how many people depends on GitLab. And so many things. The other day we had CrowdStrike.
Yes.
Where someone pushed where they're not supposed to push, and everything went down. So sometimes also the world needs to adjust some way.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
support that.
Because I saw that in myself. You can see in one situation I was labeled a rebel, and in the other situation I became something totally different.
Yeah.
And it was for the better.
Yes.
So sometimes it needs a bit of a higher level of understanding, because even the child doesn't understand themselves. It's an expression of some inner energy that needs to be channeled a certain way. And And sometimes that one is discovered by accident, and sometimes it's never discovered.
Yeah.
And when it's never discovered, that now becomes a problem because you raise an adult who was expressing some talent that was never fully explored. And so that person now becomes not themselves. You can imagine the kind of things that happen in my head, being that bright and being in an environment that is constricting me. That really puts me in a very conflicted situation.
Mental problems.
Yeah, mental. So I'm thinking, do I wait in this situation until I am in Form 4 and suffering through depression and things like that, and I can't perform in my exam, or I quit now and take a chance somewhere else?
Yeah.
That was like the thoughts in my head at that time.
Yeah.
And so many people didn't understand me. I spoke to my parents. They didn't understand why I would be leaving such a place. But then when finally it happened by totally unrelated circumstances, they came to appreciate. Because, I remember some very specific things from that time. Because when I joined Kereti, we had to do a fundraiser.
For you now to join?
For me to at least raise some money so that you can pay the initial amount to join the school.
Yes.
Because I've already passed the exam. It's confirmed I'm going to Form 3.
Yes.
But I have not paid anything. There is no cow at home.
Yeah.
There is nothing. So what do I do? We do a fundraiser at church.
You should explain more. Nowadays I'm not assuming everyone understands even the essence of fundraising. So most bright students, because some of them most of them, for whatever reason, they happen to come from a disadvantaged background. And if you don't have a cow, or that's the investment back in the day, there was no online writing, there was no which other ways do people make money nowadays. And all these innovative ways that nowadays are available. You have to sell that cow for that child to progress with their, at least join Form 1.
Yeah.
But after that, you don't know next time what will you sell.
Yep.
So community used to also come together. Everyone contributes, because so it was still is considered, if maybe you join high school or university, you normally actually represent the community, not even your parent. It's beyond. And then beyond that, you might become maybe the next councillor, the next MP, the next governor, the next, now there's governor, or the next president. So it's an investment toward the community. But now you don't have a cow to sell.
There is no cow to sell. There is no majani chai. There is a bonus to be paid.
Yes.
We have nothing.
Yes.
Literally, we have nothing.
Teto was that bad?
No, my place specifically was that bad. Okay, I was actually very different, because most of the parents, other people, they have bigger shambas, they have planted tea, they are receiving bonuses, they can take loans, as we don't have that. The place is too small, just enough for a house. My father was just doing menial jobs. He's not well off. He does not have cash reserves. So even for him, he's waiting on the Lord to do something.
And now you have passed your exam.
I've passed my exam.
You have created a new problem.
Yes, this is a problem. We need money to be able to join Form 3 next year. I don't even have uniform. The uniform I did the exam with was borrowed. So now I don't even have, I had to borrow a uniform to do the exam.
Before the exam, what did you use?
Of course, I was just at home. There was no going to school. Yeah, I'd been at home for very many months.
Wow.
Nilitoka kwa nyumba, borrowed my neighbor's uniform, went to school, did the exam.
Wow.
Yeah. So at that time
true
now,
definition of resiliency. And you'll see this actually even in his career, because it's quite fascinating. We had a chat in one of the hackathons we were doing in the Nairobi County. I was like, no, this story actually really needs to be told and also to share, because also nowadays I've realized there are people who are giving up really easily.
Too fast.
Yes, you just hit a block, or maybe your project is not accepted and you're like, I'm nothing. So your story actually is something actually people should start really. And life is not a straight line. You might come from a very nice background, you had everything, and all of a sudden everything changes. Like nowadays, if a Zakayo government knocks on your door and they start asking you for taxes, you see how things can change very fast, and you have nothing for your kids or even for yourself. So please, share.
So I'm there, we are trying to do the fundraiser. But remember, at this time, I'd been labeled. I was a drug dealer, I was a ringleader, I was all these things. Do you know what happens? The whole fundraiser, with 10 guests of honor, only raised 15,000 shillings.
Is that enough even for first term school fee?
It wasn't.
Okay.
So at that time, we are there, we are doing the numbers. I'm thinking, this one is not enough for anything. I'm supposed to be joining school. Now my hope is dashed. I don't know what will happen. But at that time, I was having a conversation with one of my aunts. And from deep inside, I was feeling I have a point to prove to several people.
Yes.
The first one is the school that labeled me I have to prove to them that I'm different. The third one is to myself, that I am actually capable of doing the things that I have always wanted to do. I want to perform well. I want to go to the university and pursue something that I love.
Yeah.
That was my resolution at that point when I was so down. So my aunt, I tell her, you know what? Amidst, very deep emotions, I tell my aunt, you know what? You will read my results in the newspaper. That one I promise you. That's what I tell her.
Yeah.
At that point. And we part ways. The fundraiser is done. I joined school in Form 1. We have the bursary club. So I have an escape. So I can't be sent away from school because of school fees.
Yeah.
Because I'm a member of the bursary club.
Yeah.
And I'm actively participating.
Yeah.
So that now becomes my safety net.
Yes.
So now, from there it just happened.
Yes.
That now we are working, now we are scoring good grades.
Yes.
Eventually to Toka Form 4, I score my A.
Yes.
It's all over the place in the newspapers, just like I told my aunt.
Yes.
She's happy, she calls me. Once she sees it, she calls me.
Now you turn from a villain to
Yeah,
a
now
hero.
they are celebrating me, all of them, everyone, including those that rejected me.
Yes.
So I'm happy, at least
But
I've
of
done
course,
it.
deep down, because now I have something to offer.
Yes, but of course I'm happy, even for myself, having done that. I didn't let myself down.
Yeah.
Because initially, the reason why I was always very vocal is that I was seeing the path you are taking is not taking me where I want to go.
Yeah.
So that's why I would be that vocal. So I'm finished Form 4.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Now I have 2 years to wait before I join campus. So now I have to find something to do in between time.
The gap year, yeah.
Yes, so that eventually we join the university. So I'm in the village. I'm looking for menial jobs, tilling people's shambas, taking care
10
of
by
their
10s.
animals.
Would you do 10 by 10?
Yes, that one I did.
And it depends
I did.
who, 10 by 10
I
guys. So I have to explain it. Sorry, guys. 10 by 10 depends who actually measures that 10 by 10. So 10 by 10, how it works is someone, how do you say it? They use their legs to measure that 10. So one leg, that's one, and then you count 10. So
10
they're
steps.
assuming that's like 4 foot.
Yeah.
So 4 foot 10 times is 40 by 40.
Yes.
So if someone is tall, you can imagine you'll be doing
60
twice
by
the
60.
distance, but the price is the same. So what people used to do, I don't know if they used to do that. I'll tell my story one day. But if they used to do that in your village, if someone is not tall enough, they would hire someone to actually measure the distance.
I was lucky because usually I would work for people who were actually my friends. So they would give me a very good, a lenient. They're like helping me, but not for free. So I have to do something for them.
Okay.
So I did that quite a bit, took care of their animals, did some farm work.
Yes.
But then it would not be enough. Because by then I was also taking care of my 2 brothers.
You are the older one?
Yeah, I'm the eldest.
Okay.
So I found that was not enough. So I had to find something else to do. So I got employed at one of the high schools, Kiamuya Secondary School. It's in Othaya near Shinga. I taught Swahili there for a few months.
Why not physics?
They didn't have a Swahili teacher, but I was just as good.
Okay.
So I was good in all the subjects, so I could teach anything.
Any?
Yes.
Okay.
So I taught Swahili for a few months. Then I still found out that it's not enough because it was just kidogo money.
Yeah.
So I decided now I have to venture in Nairobi.
Okay.
So I joined my cousin who was living in Dandora at that time.
Yeah. At this point, how many months have you spent in the rural area?
Like the first year.
Just the whole year?
Part of it was spent with, in the village, doing farm work and stuff like that. The rest of it was in Kiamuya, teaching Swahili. Then I joined my cousin, who now was living in Dandora, and we started now doing business.
By this time, have you received your invitation letter to the university?
Yes, I've already received my invitation letter, and I was actively looking for work. The first year, while I was doing the farm work and these things, I was looking for work so that I could be in a better position for myself, the fees and my brothers. But I had not gotten anything. So there is no job that I can do.
Because everything you're getting, you're spending it to your brothers and your family.
And now, within that time, I got to meet one of the most impactful person in my life. His name is Kenywa. He was director of at one of the tea factories. So I present my papers. He sees my score, and he's like, "Hey, you guy, you are looking for manual work at the factory, loading firewood in the trucks and boilers, but you are not for that class. You can do much more." So we became friends. I would visit him on Sundays when he would be around. We would sit and talk, and he would inspire me. So the first year, he finds an advertisement on the newspaper or the EABL scholarship. They used to have the Guinness scholarship that they used to give to the best students. So to sponsor engineers and food scientists. He brought the paper to me. We filled it with him. Then we drove with him, his vehicle, from there to Strathmore to make sure that we deliver by hand. Not by post. We would not trust the post.
So there will be no shenanigans. The letter
so that it would
arrive.
actually arrive. So that is the first year. So the letter arrives, but it's too early because I still have another year.
So were you invited to Strathmore?
I got to learn that we posted the application too early. The following year, when we posted it again. So that next year, I was working in Kisumu. We were hawking clothes. In Kisumu, selling in the street, just reja biashara. By then, I'd become a very accomplished businessman. When I joined my cousin...
So wait a minute. So you left the tea factory and went into business?
We did not do tea factory. I was trying to look for work there. But in the course of looking for work there, I found Kenywa, the tea director. The director. He saw my potential, and we became friends. So me, I would be doing my things, wherever. Then we'd just talk and, come do the paperwork, deliver. But I jumped a bit. Let me go back one step.
Yes, please.
So I joined my cousin in Dandora. He was living in Dandora, phase 4. His work was very simple. Wake up in the morning, take 100 bob, go to Korogosho Market, buy bananas, walk to Kariobangi roundabout, then sell the bananas there.
As a hawker?
Hawk the bananas. Then once you have sold the bananas and they are over, you go back to the market, buy another bunch, come and sell. So it would be like doubling the 100, then taking 100 again, leave 100 in the pocket, go buy extra bananas, and possibly in the evening you have 300. So that's what we used to do. We did that for a couple of months, but then it was also not working very well. So we went next step. Now I joined my uncles in selling mtumba clothes in Kisumu. So we'd buy in Kikomba, modify them, and then take them to Kisumu, sell, come back like that. And that became now the business, which actually now was business, because the other ones were just survival. We were just trying to make the next meal. So this one now became a business. I would make money. And of course, now being me, I became, quite good at doing this business. So I would buy clothes, make changes to them with the tailors, and then take them to Kisumu. Mostly would buy white khakis. Like these ones, the ones that normally nobody would buy them. So we'd take them, make them into shorts, put side pockets from the piece that's left, and then sell them as, in Kisumu and Bondo and all those places. So we did a good business on that.
Why Kisumu though?
Kisumu was good. Actually, Kisumu is a place I love. Because people in Kisumu are not afraid to spend. I can tell you that for sure. People in Kisumu love, good stuff when they see it, and they are not afraid to pay for it. And so for us, we thrived in Kisumu. We did well. We sold. Even my brother right now, he does business there.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I showed him the business, and he's been doing it.
Same business.
Same business.
Oh, nice.
He's done it for a very long time, since when I showed him. So Kisumu is good.
Okay.
Kisumu is good.
So there was demand, in other words.
The demand was there.
And people were willing to spend the price.
Yes.
They are not bargaining a lot.
They'll bargain, but they will buy.
Okay.
You know, there is a difference between people bargaining too much and actually people buying.
And you carried your research where people bargain a lot and they don't buy?
If you go back to my place, Nyeri, you'll talala nja. If you sold the same things in Nyeri.
Is it true how they say they don't buy to people they know? Like if you're from around there and you are selling, you know?
I don't know. I've never tried. I've never done business in my place.
Okay.
But I know it's tough because some people tried and they failed miserably.
Okay.
So I wouldn't try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do your mtumba business.
We are doing our mtumba business. Then I get invited for the interview.
Okay.
You know, it's they tell me now that they had seen my application the previous year, but it was too early because I was joining that year.
Okay.
So I go through the process. Everything is perfect, and I get now awarded a scholarship to study electrical and electronic engineering at the University of Nairobi.
Very nice. That's nice. So this letter was sent to Strathmore or University of Nairobi?
So the letter, I had the admission letter. Now for them, I used that to apply for the scholarship.
In Strathmore?
The Strathmore was managing the scholarship.
Okay.
Yes,
I see.
For Kenya breweries.
Okay.
So
yes.
Oh, you get.
So you are trying not to mention Kenya breweries. Shout out to Kenya breweries.
Kenya breweries, I'm proud of them.
NKQ,
actually,
by the way, NKQ guys, if you could get those 2 scholarships, you are healed, as they say in the streets. You don't need to worry about a lot of this. NKQ used to take guys to South Africa for training, hire you as a pilot, you become a captain, you are hired.
So for me, I was lucky like that. I got the scholarship. It was a full scholarship. All the fees, my accommodation, and pocket money.
Module 1.
Module 1.
Yes,
that was quite something. Because now I have something in my pocket.
You don't need to worry about the basics.
Mine is now just to go to class and learn.
Yes.
So I was doing the engineering. Now I sponsored my brother through high school.
Okay.
Akamaliza. And then now I did my engineering.
With your scholarship?
Yeah, with my scholarship and the business I was doing on the side for electronics. Now I was able to sponsor my brother through high school.
But let me ask a question, Peter.
Yes.
So since you are so good at soldering and repairing and building this amplifier, when you finished high school, why didn't you do that? Or you still did it, but not at scale?
I tried, but you see, before you can get customers, it takes time.
Yes.
And I didn't have that patience.
Okay.
Because I'm looking for the next meal. What's my quickest way to the next meal? I may be talented with electronics, but if I did electronics, it would take me 3-4 months to build a client base and credibility. And then now, I can't wait. I didn't have the luxury of time to be able to establish myself in that area. Actually, it would have been my best place to be, but I had to put it aside for some time to be able to live through that difficult time. So I was a hawker in Kisumu for a long time. I sold clothes, and it was a good business. It taught me patience. It taught me how to negotiate. It taught me, to be very, to go and get. Because even when, sometimes you sell those clothes and you have the last ones. You don't sell everything. You sell like 70%, then 30% zinakwama.
Yes.
And now you have to make a choice. What do you do? Your profit is stuck in this 30%. What do you do with it? So I used to, do a few rounds. The ones that got stuck in the first one, I would take them to an open air market and sell them for, some small amounts. And I would be happy like that. Okay. So I became very good with that business. I would do very many rounds. And then
it gave you the taste of the market at the core.
Yes, I now learned how to manage the fundis, how to negotiate my way. If sometime you come to the market, you don't have money. The seller is here, he has the clothes.
So
you
you
have to
also have to
negotiate.
for credit.
Upewe on credit, then you come and pay later. So I learned business, and I learned how to, having come from a poor background, you come with some bad behaviors. And some of the bad behaviors are like kukosa kulipa deni.
Oh.
Yes. That poverty mentality shows you like if you pay this debt, it's like you won't get more money. So you hang on to your money too much.
Yes.
I had to let that go. To learn that if I get something, I have to come back and pay for it. I would rather pay for the previous one.
Very, very important.
I would rather pay for the previous one and take a new loan than try now to dodge you, hide from you, and things like that. Feel the warmth of the money in my pocket. So it was a very tough lesson because now when you are trying to survive, you don't think too much about building relationships. You are too stuck on survival. And you forget to build those very important relationships.
And relationships are very, very important more than money.
Yes.
So you get to American Wing.
Yeah, I'm at American Wing.
And you're like, this is a new world.
It was a new world for the first few weeks. But very soon I found myself at home. Once we hit the lab and guys are stuck not knowing how to do things, I'm showing them how the electronics are done. They're asking me, where did you study all this? Because I know everything. I read the experiment, we set it up, we do it. My group is done in record time. The rest of them are just stuck. Then now I have to sneak, go see where they are stuck, help them, advise them. By then I already knew how to use most things, multimeters, oscilloscope. I understood signals, all those things I knew. So I was at home in the lab. So I'm there, I'm just acing it. Then I discover the Fab Lab. You see, the university laboratories are not available for your own stuff. You cannot just hang out in the lab. By then it was not possible. I don't know if things have changed now. But you could not just go there and hang out and play with components. It was not like that. It was restricted access only during your slot. So at that time we are doing classwork. So we had to find another place, either in your room or another place that you can
do your experiments.
So it so happened that at the same time, there was the University of Nairobi Science and Technology Park. The idea was started by Dr. Kamau Gashigi. And he was really very passionate about science and technology and being able to bridge the gap between international makers and the local makers. So he established the University of Nairobi Science and Technology Park. Inside that park, there was a place called the Fab Lab. The Fab Lab is an open space. It has woodworking equipment, wood router. It has electronic prototyping equipment. It has computers and internet. And also space where we can hang out as much as we like. Exactly what I wanted.
Was there food?
There was no food.
DH captain?
DH captain amekula, ati ako na pesa. Sindio, ako tu sawa.
So you are the guy who is going to the cafeteria and going where
no, we were nakula 6x6. You see, I have a lot of responsibilities. I can't afford a lavish lifestyle. So I was just living my humble lifestyle.
What is 6x6?
6x6 was ugali ya 6 bob na cabbage ya 6 bob.
All right. Noted. So,
to
ensure that the other guys go to school comfortably.
And also, I'm also not trying, I'm trying to live on this small money that I have for as long as possible, possibly to mpaka when I receive next.
And I'm assuming you're buying gadgets for your experiments as well.
By then I'm buying microcontrollers, I bought a computer, all those things. So now I find the Fab Lab. It's amazing. There's a class being taught by university professors from MIT. We are participating in the Fab Lab ecosystem. We are learning about microcontroller programming. By then, that's when the Arduino had just been arriving in Kenya. This is around 2009. So we are having Arduinos. I got a few Arduinos. But then, in the Fab Lab microcontroller class, Fab Lab class, we are taught how to do it from scratch. So you build your own programmer. Then you build your own electronic board. and you then proceed to build the product that you want to build.
Yeah.
As opposed to now when you can just buy an Arduino off the shelf, plug in a USB cable, blink an LED. For us, before you could blink the LED, you had to make the programmer first. Yes. So you had to make the programmer, program the programmer, and then use that programmer to program your board.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is what they call a bare metal kind of
Yes, it's on the
approach.
metal.
Yes.
Everything is bare.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, you
Nothing
burn
works.
you could even burn your own computer's USB port very easily.
Wow.
You make one mistake and it's gone. I did that.
Yes.
Several times. So, it was that tough.
Yes.
But then now we learned. Once you learn, and, there is that excitement that comes with having conquered something that you saw that was very difficult.
Yes.
So the moment I built my own programmer, the moment I built my own first board, I was set.
You're like, I can build now a computer.
Yes.
Yes.
We now started doing all kind of things.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of microcontroller, works. There was a program called Waza. Waza was a program within the Fab Lab community at that time that seniors were teaching juniors how to do innovation with microcontrollers.
Yes.
By then, the current MP for Mwala, is it Mwala? Kawaya. There's a guy in parliament, he's an engineer, it's called Kawaya.
Yes.
He was among the first people.
Is that a nickname or his name?
It's a nickname.
Okay.
His actual name, I'll find it.
Okay.
But his current nickname, which is very popular, is Kawaya.
And I can see why. As an engineer, if you are named Kawaya,
yes,
of course that goes without saying that you are really good at your stuff.
Yeah, so these guys really inspired us. Yeah. So we were looking up to them. He had gone to one of the universities, one of the big universities. Then he had come back. He was a tutorial fellow at that time.
That is abroad?
Yes.
Okay.
He had come back as a tutorial fellow, and so we were looking up to him for, inspiration and where this could go. Yeah. And so for him now, he was very advanced. For us, we are learning. So we learned enough to the point that we now started teaching this to our fellow students. Yes. So me and my friend Kimali Muthoka, we established the Fab Lab microcontroller class. Yes. It was a voluntary program where students now would come. We teach them microcontrollers, and then they go and do things with them, just for fun. So we do this on Saturdays. Yes. So our classmates would come, guys from other classes would also join, and then we would teach them.
So ideally, you start a community within the Fab Lab.
Yes. Yes. So this is a community of engineers who are doing embedded programming and circuits. Yes. So within that time, there was a competition going on around the world. Yes. It was the NASA Space Apps Challenge. Yes. NASA Space Apps Challenge was being held in different places. Yeah. And one of the places was the iHub. Okay. So at the iHub, there was that.
I remember the competition actually.
Yes. Yeah. So guys were going to attend, and some of the businesses around had suggested some challenges that the guys at the hackathon would attempt to solve. And so one of the challenges was to do with electronics. Yes. And so we get invited to come and inspire the hackers on the hackathon how to do the electronics so that they can solve the challenge. Yes. We get there, we teach in a morning session. Yeah. We look at the crowd, they need a lot of help. Yes. We stay with them through the day. But by evening, we discovered that the kind of work required to get the solution done, none of these people can do it, even if they tried. Okay. So we formed a team. Me, Kimali, and 3 others. Yes. From the members who are interested in the challenge. Yes. And so for us now, because we had a lot of experience and some archives, we pulled a few archives together, patched it up together, tried a few things. Yes. So we spent the whole night building the solution. The following day was presentations. We present, we haven't slept. And it is good. We win the People's Choice Award.
How many awards were there?
There were several awards. Okay. But around the world, we won the People's Choice Award.
So this was competition around the world?
Yes, it was around the world.
It was judged amongst all the continents?
Yes, all the continents. Okay. So for us, we were able to marshal the people to support us.
Yes.
We had already solved the challenge.
Yes.
And so we get voted for the People's Choice Award.
Yes.
And we get that.
Yes.
And it's a big boost. Because by then I'm still in campus. We are still studying. I'm heading towards my end of course exams.
Yeah.
It's like April.
Yes.
So June is still far.
Yes.
But then now, the company that had brought the challenge, they say, Peter, you know what? We want you to work for us.
Which company was this?
It was Access Energy.
Okay.
They were doing wind turbines and solar in Kisumu. So,
that's how you get your first gig.
yes, I am employed while I'm still in campus.
Yeah.
So I'm working, we are building electronic solutions for them. We are coding.
Yes.
And then now when I graduate, I join them.
Oh,
that was
nice.
my first job.
Nice.
Yes.
And I think this NASA award, people did not go to Houston or?
No, we didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
We didn't go.
But you got some nice match.
Yeah, we got good stuff. And also the job, it was quite something for me.
Yeah.
Because you can remember now from where I'm coming from, this is a big one. Because at least now I know I have a paycheck.
And do not go back to rural
Yes.
or Kisumu thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'd been doing that Kisumu thing between the holidays.
Yes.
I would sneak out, do 2 weeks of hawking.
It was that attractive.
When you have some idle time, you can do that.
During the summer break.
Yeah, so I used to do that. Sometimes I was unable even to finish my attachment.
Okay.
Because I couldn't, fund my life.
Yes.
During that time of the attachment. So I would drop out and go do business kidogo and then join the university, Badai. But were it like now, when attachments are supervised, I think I would have failed on that one. Yeah. I never finished any of them.
Yeah, actually, I don't get the concept of attachment.
Attachment is good. Unfortunately, sometimes you find that people are not matched with where they might benefit most.
Yes.
You find that people are mismatched, and so you find that people get lost, and they lose the meaning of what an attachment is. Because I've seen the kind of impact an attachment in the right place for the right person means. It changes their life completely. It could be someone was giving up on their career, but then all of a sudden they get inspired and they discover themselves.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they have a purpose
Yeah.
to even, work at wee hours. I've seen that, and that is actually something we really look for in my business.
Yeah.
We look for a person who can match what we do and someone who would benefit a lot from what we do. And that way now, we're able to be of very big impact to him because that's what I lacked. I didn't have a mentor. I had to teach myself all the things that I did. I didn't have someone who held my hand.
Yeah.
At some time, I imagine if I had someone who held my hand, how much faster would I have transitioned from just a student who knows a bit of electronics to a real electronic guru?
Yes.
It would not have taken more than 6 months.
Yeah.
Even 6 months is too much.
Yeah.
Like 3 months would have been enough. But I never had that chance. Usually I would find myself in places where, the people are doing completely different things from what I am doing.
Yes.
And there is no one to look up to.
Yeah.
So we have to, the Fab Lab microcontroller class opened our eyes. We are now able to interact with people
the outside
who are,
world,
yes,
or the
people
industry.
who match our energy, people who match the kind of things that we are trying to do.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very inspirational. And so that one propelled us quite far.
Yes.
But outside in the community, there was none. There was no one doing the stuff we were doing.
Yes.
The people who came close are the guys who are doing speed governors. But then also they were relying on us to help them build their circuits.
Okay.
So them, they are doing business as we are doing the engineering. They don't have people experienced,
in the engineering
more than ourselves that we could look up to. So
Let
that
me ask
was
you,
a gap.
Now that you're talking about the experience, so I understand the engineering school has been there for quite a while.
Yes.
Where did these engineers used to go? After
You see, the
graduation?
problem with the Kenyan market,
Yes.
it favors a lot people who are doing repairs. If you are doing repairs, you'll be very busy.
Okay.
If you are designing solutions, you will struggle.
You sleep hungry.
You will struggle.
Yes.
In this market, anyone who is designing new solutions from scratch, especially in electronics, they do struggle. Unless maybe you are building a device that is viral, like the speed governors when there is a new revision.
and
Then you
actually
can
that
mint.
takes an act for it to be implemented, which is so unfortunate.
Yes, so you find that during those moments, the guys who are doing the design, they become very busy. They can cash in. On the flooding of the, on that very sudden demand for that device.
And
but over time,
it's more of a compliance actually.
It's a compliance. It's forced by law. It's not that without the law, people would not buy. But now after that, after the demand dies, you find that these guys now remain not very busy. So for me, I found that first one around 2012. I found the first one, the first wave for the digital speed governors. And so I worked on a few projects. I helped them with the R&D. And they sold. So I got to taste the first one. And then, of course, it was too early. Then I went to my job in Kisumu. I worked there for 2 years. Then I came to Nairobi. I went back to Fab Lab. And then,
but I have a question and a comment. First, with a comment, shout out to Dr. I don't know now if he's a professor, Gashigi.
Dr. Kamau Gashigi.
Yes, Kamau Gashigi. He has actually played a huge role when it comes to hardware and adaptation. And also now I know Ded and Kimathi are doing something around semiconductors, which is quite huge to really start that process of production. But my question would be, if someone is really starting up on the, IoT. And that I'm assuming either you are a student at the American wing or Kibabi University, whatever you are, you feel like, okay, I need to get into hardware, or this is something it comes naturally. What kind of architecture, platforms, or technology stack that you really need to focus in?
For me, I would not say architecture or platform, because I've done IoT on all kinds of platforms. I've done it on a very small device, a wearable device. I've done it on an industrial machine with PLCs and a lot of processes. I've done it with Arduinos. I'm doing it with Arduinos. I'm doing it with ESPs. Generally, you'll find that once you start in one place, it becomes easy to go in the other places. But you have to choose somewhere where the entry, the learning curve is a bit shallower. Where the learning curve is a bit gentle is on the Arduino. Get an Arduino, get a modem, connect them, send a text message. Don't even
Once
go
you do
to the
that,
internet.
And with the messaging, that reminds me this CTO Roundtable is powered by Africa Stocking. We provide SMS APIs. We provide USSD API. We provide voice API. We provide airtime API. Actually, we have a whole stack of IoT, for those who don't know, just that we pivoted a bit. But you never know. And maybe this discussion might shape that conversation. We feel like the market maybe is not yet ready for it. But right now, maybe I think there's that uptake. There's more of a demand around that.
So you find that now, start small. Blink the LED. Like now, my company is called Blink Electrics. Why? We borrowed that name directly from the hello world of electronics.
So if the LED blinks,
if it blinks, you can do everything else.
How many of you, your LED has ever blinked? Okay. For those who have not blinked, do not give up. Until it blinks. Once it blinks, you are closer to your destination.
So once you're able to do the simple thing, you now build on that. Once it blinks, change the delay, add another LED, make them do a pattern. Put a button, see if you can press a button to make the LEDs do something. By that way, you are now expanding, your mind, and you're seeing the possibilities. Then, basics, communication. From there now you are starting now
two devices
communicating to each other. Like there is a time we did automation with SMS. One device sends the other device a text message. The other device takes the SMS, decodes it, and sends back something.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So there is a handshake.
So like a
then...
request. So you are texting this device, asking for the status of something.
Yes.
Then the device will respond.
Yes.
You know, that's a very basic thing. But it's not basic when you look at it from the implementation.
Yeah, I can see a lot of implementation from farming to
But
whatnot,
the moment you are there and you're doing simple things like that, it's just a matter of time before you now start to understand where the world is.
Yes.
But you have to begin somewhere.
Yes.
You have to lay the foundation.
Yes.
Usually the beginners are scared because they see people doing very complex things. They want to also try the complex thing out of the box.
Yes.
Which is the problem.
Yes.
You should have enough basic experience first.
Yes.
So that you can pivot to the more complex things.
Yes.
Like now, for myself, before I understood GPRS communication very well, you know, I used to struggle. Yes, I want to send data to a server on the internet.
Yes.
How do I do that?
Yes.
Then, all of a sudden, at some point, I came to discover, I was doing it wrong. This is the way I should do it.
Yeah.
Then I did it. And all of a sudden, it's like a floodgate. You see possibilities of how you can do things. Then now you have the Wi-Fi, you have Ethernet, devices that are capable.
Yes.
And then now you leverage the examples other people are using. Because sometimes, like for ourselves, we had to write the code from scratch. Yes, you see right now you can take an Arduino, write a serial print, and there is something on the terminal.
Yes.
For us, we had to configure the registers for the baud rate. You have to configure the registers for the parity. You have to configure some registers for, you know, number of bits. All those, you have to set them up yourself.
Like libraries.
Now, it's in a library, and you can just call that function without knowing what is in the background.
Yes.
Yes.
Guys who do JS, before JS there was Java. And if you have done Java, for sure you do library. That's why lesson one for Java is libraries. So if you call the wrong library or it's not designed for what you need to modify or build your own library. And it's the same thing now when it comes to hardware, whereby you can actually be required to build a certain library to do certain tasks behind the scenes.
Yes.
Would you say now backend is huge when it comes to hardware?
Right now there's a lot of libraries. All of the hardware that's available in the market has already a lot of supporting documentation. It has a lot of libraries already,
and compatibility,
examples, and also cross-platform compatibility. So once you start in one place, you can easily migrate to the other place.
Okay.
Very
so you are saying if I do PHP, I can still do hardware?
Yeah.
If I do JavaScript, I can still do hardware?
The problem with hardware is one.
Yes.
That there is the underlying electronic engineering.
Okay.
Because for hardware to work, the electronic must match the function you are trying to do.
Okay.
So you must understand resistors, you must understand relays, you must understand logic gates, you must understand logic levels, you must understand capacitors, power supply circuits. So electronic and firmware engineering is a bit a specialty field compared to other fields, because now you can come from statistics and you're already in doing something with software.
Yes.
But you cannot come from, maybe statistics and you dive direct to hardware.
Okay.
There's quite a steep learning curve.
Okay.
And that's actually what is preventing a lot of people from venturing into hardware because of the difficulty in understanding the hardware.
Okay.
So those of us who are, in that space know and understand. And we have a lot of knowledge. Like myself, it's over 20 years since I started interacting with transistors.
Yes. So it requires also some patience.
It's a lot of patience. Yeah. And also, you have to burn a few things.
Okay.
Components will explode from time to time.
Yeah.
So,
be ready to burn a few things before it works.
So you
Do you still burn stuff right now? Or?
Right now it's rare.
Yeah.
But of course,
but
my engineer from time to time will burn a few things.
Like it's okay, man.
But now,
part of the process.
with me there, I tell him, did you check this one component? And he's like,
I forgot.
Kumbe ni
I
hii.
skipped.
Kumbe ni hii. So we put another one.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's the journey. If you are afraid to break something, you'll never do anything with it. Even like when you are riding a bicycle for the first time, you are risking injuring your knee. You might drop it.
Yes.
It's the same thing with technology.
Yes.
But of course now, with our experience, we learn how not to do things. So you know so many things of how it's not done, that the only few ones that you have, you find within the first few trials.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll pause there for a bit for any question either from the audience here in person or online. If there is any question, we can take a few before we proceed. There is one there. There is another here. Is there another one? Maybe we have two online. If there's anything, we're also watching closely. Feel free to share anything on all the socials. There's one here. You can start here. Yes, you can start by introducing yourself, maybe the company you work for, if you are the IoT or Arduino or L-World engineer in hardware. That would be very interesting. You have to unmute the mic. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My question to you was, you being outside there, you know, day to day, from selling bananas to selling clothes to coming to Nairobi, back, forth and forth. I mean, there's a lot really happening on. What really kept you going to that point? You know, there's sometimes you are waking up, you are exhausted, you're tired. Sometimes there's something bugging you, your brother is not. On from day to day, you're waking up, you're saying, I need to do this, there's this really to happen, this really to get accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You said your name is?
I am Danfold Mosongo.
Yes, that's a good question from Danford. Yes, you want to answer that or you take another one?
Okay, I'll answer one at a time.
Then there's another one here.
Yeah. So I really can't tell what really drives me, but the initial survival, you know, it was a survival mechanism. I had to do something with myself. And having discovered that I was good in school from the word go, from when I was in primary, being number one too many times, I used to be challenged a lot that if I was not careful, I would end up as a nobody. So I was really scared of that. That really pushed me a lot because I would not imagine myself having failed despite my, you know, my intellectual capacity. So I wanted to do something with that. And I found electronics.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. Then you can have...
do I need to stand?
If you want.
Okay.
Yes.
So, hello everybody. Good evening to you all. So
good evening.
Thank you for the response. So my name is Sam Kamau. I studied in Strathmore. I heard you've mentioned Strathmore. So I studied in Strathmore. I did a bachelor's in computer science. So I saw this event today. I think it was through some communities that I am in, through WhatsApp. And I saw that it was about IoT. Considering that my background really isn't in IoT, the first instinct was, let me just, you know, this is not for me. But I decided just to click through it. And as I was reading through the things, his story and all that, there was one point that gave me the drive to come to the event. So we know that IoT devices generate a lot of data, especially now that they can be literally in anything, like in bulbs, in vehicles, and they generate a lot of data. And my interest is in data, like I'm trying to be a data professional, looking into data science, machine learning, and all that. So is there a space for we data professionals in the IoT world, considering all the data that IoT devices produce, and how can we start, like how can we get into that? Yeah.
So it's actually a very good question you've asked. Right now I have systems that are running, but you find that we don't have a rich report. We have very simplistic reports that we generate from, you know, our system. maybe the level is low, you trigger something. But I don't have analysis, an in-depth analysis, like are you able to predict maybe if the product is being lost due to some maybe excessive consumption?
Yeah.
You see, like some of my devices are monitoring a product at a client site. And so sometimes you find there is maybe an excessive draw all of a sudden. For us, our system, the cloud that we haven't advanced it. We are just doing simple stuff. So we are taking data points. But from that data, you can now be able to do something and build on top of it to generate such alerts that are not generated by, a discrete level, but by a change. So if there is a certain kind of a change, then you can alert. If, let's say, maybe we are trying to build a system that synchronizes deliveries and the actual status of the equipment, let's say they are loading, and there is a sudden rise, you can tell how much was delivered. And that now can be used to counter-check the delivery note. There's a lot of places where data science can plug into IoT to add value and to make now processes even better.
Yeah.
So there's a time I was speaking to one of my friends, and I was asking him to help me develop a software solution to work on top of the data that we collect, to be able to give the client this kind of reports, monthly reports.
Yeah.
You see the data comes, the tank level rises, then the customer continues using it. At some point, another top-up comes. Things like that are changing up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
It would be nice to be able to get a report of deliveries, automated on the data, things like that.
Yeah.
If it is the rate of consumption, if it is things like that, predictions, things like that, they can be built on top of the data. There's a need that will be there in the very near future, because right now people are managing the system by looking at a dashboard. But it can even be better if they can get, quick reports.
Yes.
Like daily reports.
Yes.
What was the consumption rate today? What was the consumption rate tomorrow? When do we expect to make a new order? Things like that. But right now it's just a dashboard with data on it.
Yeah.
Then we have simple alerts. But then, of course, in the very near future, a lot more can be done.
Yeah, I mean, the world is moving from informational economies to knowledge economies. And these were actually, what you're talking about, having that data. And also remember, there are some people who, when they see a graph, they can actually make a decision quickly, as opposed to you explaining hours after hours, and then you don't make sense even from, the data that you have. And I see now, even beyond that, an autonomous process decision-making that really is inbuilt. And I think data science becomes very, very important. Software engineering, UI, UX, graphical user interface that really is autonomous in that process. And maybe in developed economy, I think that's already happening.
Even right now, some people are already building businesses on top of IoT data.
Yes.
You see, IoT in itself is just a means of bringing that thing on the internet. It's the Internet of Things. So that thing gets to have a voice on the internet. Then now from there you can build anything. People are automating everything. Selling water with Bowsers. There is a customer of mine who does that. They're automating that process. So they have sensors on tanks. They bring it to their platform. They analyze the customer's consumption. They can predict when to deliver. They know how much they've delivered. Things like that. So that's just one. Traditionally, only car tracking and logistics business used to have IoT, but then it wasn't called IoT. IoT is a new name that has come, recently. But car tracking was actually the same technology that we have now in the past, but it was used for asset tracking. Now people are tracking almost anything.
And I mean, true, what you have said, the IoT has just come in to explain a lot of things. Because if you think about network and how it works, it's mostly IoT, and network is one of the oldest IoT implementation of IoT. Because by the fact that KPLC would track and know where the the electricity is breaking down so that people do not get power, that's already IoT.
Yes.
When you track oil pipeline, that's still IoT. When you track, and I hope maybe Nairobi Sewerage and Water Company.
Yes.
And I've never gotten why sewer and water are in the same. That's a side banter. But the Nairobi and Sewerage Company, if there's anyone who works for them, they have been trying to implement IoT for the longest.
Yeah.
Either by design or by whatever, it has not worked. Because imagine if they could tell where people are not getting water. How many cubic liters of water is spent in Kayole versus in Runda or versus, Kawangware.
Yeah.
And now even you can distribute, even when you are doing repair of the pipes, you can actually pipe more water where there are more people, there is more usage. You can avoid wastage. And this now even truncates to agriculture, truncates to hospitals where now you have to know where the devices are failing and avoid death. So some of this implementation, if it's well done, they could go a long way to solve day-to-day problems. Yeah. And that brings me to the biggest question in the room.
Yes.
Which is around, yes, we want to do this.
Yes.
But now, number one, we have not been manufacturing our own electronics from motherboard to breadboard to all these gadgets that we need.
Yeah.
We have been designing and sending it either to China or wherever. And I think there's some progress to give credit, like Maurice Metza, who I'm looking forward to host in one of these fine sessions.
Yes.
The American wing now have got a new, really modern devices for teaching.
Okay.
Gearbox, which unfortunately is
relocated.
So
but we have the Gearbox Europlacer next door. They are doing SMT assembly.
Yes.
And they are doing well.
This brings me to a very interesting discussion now.
Yes.
Whereby, what are these things that we need to do and to even scale to be able now to say, for sure, if I have a design, I'll send it to industrial area. Tomorrow in the afternoon, I'll go and grab it or maybe send a border person to bring it.
Yeah.
And we have seen so much implementation from even, now have you guys seen the pop-up of bicycle which are electrical?
Yeah.
Imagine if you could do that like other cities where you just have an IoT. Once you pay, it unlocks.
Yes.
You can go and park it where you're going. When you're coming back, you can use the same process, encourage non-motorized transport.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of implementation already, and it cuts across. So what do you think now we can do from your experience?
Yes.
Working for these kind of industries to get there.
What we need in Nairobi, one, and which I'm planning to do, is put together a PCB line.
Yes.
Printed circuit board production line.
Yes.
I'm going to start with a small one, and then we will pivot to a bigger one.
Okay.
The reason is that nowadays, if you have a design, you have to wait for it to go to China, manufactured in like 5 or 6 days, and then shipped back. Maybe if you're using DHL, it could be faster. If you're using other means, and expensive, very expensive, you find that a small PCB, you'll pay 10,000. Yet the cost of the actual board itself is like $2-3.
Yes.
So you'll find that now it becomes a problem to innovate. Because these extra charges for shipping, and then when it gets to the airport, you have to do taxes and all this. So the prototyping becomes a very big challenge, especially because now you have to know the supply chain. You have to know who is going to build the board for you and who is going to ship it for you. And you also have to do the logistics and everything. It's a lot of work for just an innovator who wants a PCB to test a simple idea. That you have to know and do all these other things just to be able to blink an LED. So that's the reason why I want to build a PCB line at our new location in industrial area. Because that way, even for ourselves, right now the way we prototype, ourselves we are good with this. So we buy bare boards, then we use toner transfer, sometimes photo transfer, and we build the boards in-house. So we can prototype really quickly. There's a day we had a challenge. One of our customers failed to confirm their order for a prototype early enough. So for us, we didn't start building. But then when the customer confirmed the order, they didn't move forward the day we were supposed to deliver.
Yeah.
So it's Thursday evening, we have a confirmed order, and we need to deliver a device on Tuesday.
Wow.
So Thursday evening, we are designing the board. Friday part of it, we are still designing the board. Saturday, we fabricate the PCB. We populate the PCB with components from our archive. By Tuesday, we have the device running with firmware.
Wow.
In record time, and that device has been working at the client site for over 3 months now.
Very nice. Now, I think it's very important to go back to your journey, because you see, when someone hears you design and you ran the firmware in record 3 to 4 days, they might think, man, I've been trying to work with this for 1 year, and it's not really working. So in Kisumu, did you go and still do the hardware, or it was a different line of work?
I was given a big position straight out of school. I was the electronics design manager and field manager. That means I was in charge of the electronics. I was designing. I was my own manager. And I was also in charge of the team that goes to install in the field. So I had a very small team. The guys who I go with to the field, and myself, and one more guy who we are doing electronics with. So that was just, firmware building, communication. By then we were sending text messages. We would send text messages every hour to a phone, and then we would copy that data to an Excel, and then we would plot the performance.
What were these text messages about?
Current, state of charge of the battery, state of the wind turbines, state of the solar panels. So all that data we would put it in a spreadsheet, and we would plot the performance of the equipment without having to go to the field. So that was the kind of stuff we started with. But by the time I was leaving, we were already doing GPRS, already sending data and plotting data on the cloud. So that was where I started. But before I got there, we were already building PCBs using bare boards from River.
For the same company or a different company?
Before, no, in Fab Lab and at the university.
So how long did you work for this company, and how?
2 years.
How did you grow it?
That company, by the time I was leaving, we had devices, they were working, they were sending data to the cloud.
Designed in Kenya, manufactured in China?
PCB was manufactured in China. But assembly and firmware and everything was done locally.
I think for those who have, Apple devices, there's this statement there, design in
Kenya.
Is it San Francisco Cappuccino? Manufactured in China. So that's what I was trying to like.
People are trying to get their slice of the cake.
We don't have the machinery. That's the truth.
We don't. That's a problem. And it's unfortunate. Because we have been left behind quite a bit. Right now, the kind of advanced technology we have in terms of PCB manufacturing, it's quite advanced. You can see every piece of electronic device we have has a PCB in it. All
but
of
we're
them.
Still manufacturing in China.
All of them are manufactured in China. Every phone that we have has a PCB. Every computer, every microphone like this one, everything that, even the LED lights that we see, all of them, the PCB is a basic component in every electronic device. So if we allow ourselves to remain behind like this, there's never a time we'll be able to catch up. Even just time. If not for anything else, we'll be able to do things faster. Because like I hear, if you go to some towns in China, you're buying components here, PCBs are manufactured there, they're even being hawked in the street. They are in the street, and you can buy different components from different shops, and you assemble a gadget. You know? Like the Kikomba we have for clothes, now you have a Kikomba for electronics.
Yes.
You know, that is where we should be heading.
Yes.
So that the cost of these devices become lower, and people have more access, and we give these our engineers the jobs that they need.
Very interesting. So, because I know sometimes government tries to do everything, but of course, from my understanding, government is supposed to enable the environment. And I saw a law from I don't know which society or which robotic shenanigan. Let me call it that way for that. I don't know if the guy who proposed this act is in this room, but if you are in this room, I don't know you. No one knows you in the community. I've been in the community for a bit. And this law actually is not actually favoring the innovation and growth.
Yeah.
Because it's stifling that.
Yes.
What do you think actually government should do? Should they maybe deal with taxes? Should they invest in the sector and maybe partner with people like Moritz Metzer, yourself?
Yes.
Bring some of this machinery, even if it's on loan,
Yes.
and then you can pay back and enable some of these things for a start. What does that look like? That process?
What we need in this country is very simple.
Yes.
The government should understand that they do not understand the market.
Okay.
The government usually sees the market from a regulation point of view.
Okay.
People like me see the market from an opportunity point of view.
Okay.
I know where the opportunity is. And that's why I'm saying right now I'm going to invest in a PCB line. Even if it is very small in one of the corners, there'll be a way for me to build a PCB in 1 hour.
Okay.
Yes. But coming back to the question of the government, we need the government to understand that the world is moving, and it's moving very fast.
Yeah.
If they are too busy trying to stifle an upcoming market or field, it will cause us to be left even further behind.
Yes.
And by the time we realize that our laws were stifling the innovation space, it will already be too late. The opportunities will have been taken by others, and we will be their customers.
Okay.
Like right now, if you look at some of the technology, something very simple, like an email. How many businesses are using Gmail for business?
Maybe 99.9.
All of them. Why? Why? What is so difficult about an email?
Maybe buying the servers.
No. It's not.
Yes.
Why don't people trust other service providers and they are in the market? But because everyone, when you came on the internet,
Yes.
you got a Gmail.
For free.
For free.
Which made you aware of how to really
How
operate.
good it is. You got to experience the software for free. Even up to now, you still have your Gmail.
Yes.
And it's probably your primary email.
Very familiar.
Yes. That is how all of us who later go into business, I don't want to open webmail whatever. I want
familiar.
to, yes, see you're familiar.
Yeah.
So I'll subscribe happily to Gmail for business. You see? But how did that get there? It's because they knew where they wanted to go.
Okay.
And they had their path already plotted. And they put down the infrastructure. And it was there, and nobody stifled them.
Okay.
But now, if we are going to stifle our own market,
Yes.
so that people who have innovative ideas cannot even build them. You see, the problem is, if I cannot even express my idea in a product, because I will...
Without government or some society approval.
Yes. What does that mean? I will not even express that idea.
Yeah.
And so it means even the potential for that idea will remain and explode unless I have the muscle to go through the system.
Okay, I see.
You see, let's take an example. Let's say, for example, like for us now to be able to do IoT business and things like that.
Yeah.
The number of licenses you have to have before you can even do anything.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And they are not enabling. Actually, if at all, they are taking away from the business.
Yes, and instead of now having an environment where it's like a sandbox, you people, we give you 5 years.
Yes.
Try your idea.
Yes.
If it works, we will issue you this license. These are the requirements.
Yes.
Prepare yourself.
Yes.
This is what you should have at that time. So we provide you a safe space where you can actually innovate. We'll even fund you, you know. Why not? Some of these international governments, they fund their universities, they invest back into their businesses because they know what those businesses are doing eventually will become the money that pays taxes.
Yes.
These businesses will hire people. These businesses will create jobs.
Yeah.
They will eventually make profits and pay, you know, back.
Yes.
It's just like the government when we were in the university. As regular students, we were sponsored by the government.
Yes.
We were government sponsored.
Yes.
We never used to pay the full fees that the guys on the parallel program were paying.
Yes.
Now, what was the hope? The hope was that we would become engineers, we would bring value to the economy,
Yes.
and the value we bring in the economy would eventually translate to a better Kenya. Some of us have, been lucky. We've gotten there.
Yeah.
Others, they are lamenting because probably they did not translate. And so I would wish for the government to think in that way, that you create an enabling environment for innovation, you support the innovators who are actually doing something.
Yes.
Because some of us need support. Some of us have lived hand to mouth for a very long time. Because we want to die with that dream. I'm like, I cannot let this die. But if I got a boost, I would realize this dream faster.
Yes.
So we have that need in the market
Yes.
for the government, the people in authority to realize that there is need to invest back
Yes.
in our own innovators,
Yes.
in our own market,
Yes.
to be able to create the solutions that we need.
Yes.
Before we go looking for solutions outside of Kenya, we should first shop around.
Yes.
And if there is no solution, we challenge a few people to make that solution.
We are smart guys, especially in colleges.
Yes,
I mean,
and
like,
universities.
how do you use our universities besides saying we are sending them this budget, that budget,
Yeah.
getting in debt?
Yeah.
And, it's very sad to see that we don't see the value in education, that we keep saying people should be
The problem is that all our jobs,
Yeah.
all our jobs are in China. Someone is doing them in China.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone is making the next big phone, the Samsungs,
Yeah.
the Technos,
Yeah.
all these phones, all these cameras,
Yeah.
all these microphones. We'll eventually buy them from China.
Yes.
But there is nothing stopping me from spending 6 months
Yeah.
researching about this microphone.
Yes.
And if possible, I can just open this one, see how it is made, and see how I can make a similar one like that. Sometimes we go too far. The technology is right here before my eyes. I can look at it and create it.
But they call that reverse engineering,
It's reverse engineering.
which is illegal.
But it is not illegal.
Yeah.
Because
It is made to be illegal.
no,
Yeah.
you learn how they do it.
Oh, okay.
Then you
and
do
then
it.
advance.
Yes, you do it.
Oh, by the way,
maybe
they
even
say
better.
Innovation sometimes is actually, copying, and then after that, you had some features,
Yes.
and then before you know it, you have discovered something
Something
new. Because
different.
I'm not sure, I'm very sure actually, even some of these, the microphone you're using,
Yeah.
just came after COVID. Actually, that's when they refined because there was this need. Microphones were known for public addressing.
Yes.
You remember the one that people hold and then there is some
Yeah.
battery? It's called
Yeah.
what? It's called, there's a name. The one that just
Wireless.
is self-sustainable.
Wireless
Yeah.
microphone.
No. There is a one that people use even in Gikomba to announce some things. It's very basic. Yeah. The one that you don't need anything else. It's still a speaker, it's still a microphone.
Oh, yeah. The one
you
that's
just hold.
combined.
Yes.
Like the one they were using on the Mandamano. Yeah.
I did not see that one, but it might be the one.
There was some.
Yes,
With a
but-
white bell thing.
Yeah, maybe it's that one.
Yeah.
So, but this one actually was designed for live streaming, for all this. Even the amplifiers.
Yeah.
They had to actually rethink the whole model because of the need, and I'm sure they borrow that knowledge from the existing microphone,
Yes.
the diaphragms, how do they work,
Yeah.
and then they recreated the whole experience. So you're right, but please do not go and reverse engineer anyone's solution. You might be getting in trouble. Some of these technology are patented.
Yes.
And by the way, this brings me to my other discussion about patents.
Yes.
Do you think Kipi is doing a good job on patenting people's ideas, or?
I don't think they are encouraging, or the process is straightforward enough
Yeah.
for people to hope on.
Yeah.
I think these ones have become like, gray areas where innovators don't know how to approach them.
Okay.
Because we just hear about it, but nothing much comes out of it.
Maybe they should even start by building a community,
Even
sharing.
bringing the people together, like having discussions and things like that.
Yeah.
But you find that, government and these other institutions, they are very, they are very reserved. They are not going out there to market themselves or even to hold, events where people can come and listen to them and share ideas with them.
Yeah.
So it becomes obscure who they are. And eventually we don't get far with that. Because that's where some of this funding could once you have been discovered to have an idea with a potential, Kipi could be the one that could drive that.
Okay.
Maybe through some organization that, does support for business.
Absolutely. So that's another way government could actually really
absolutely.
open up.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, Engineer Peter Mbari, that what with this, business in Kisumu where you are in charge of everything and building stuff, is it immediately after that you start the company?
No.
Or you went to another company?
What happens after Kisumu? I'm now an engineer.
Yeah.
I'm making some good money. I come back to Fab Lab. We establish a new lab.
So you came back to
Fab Lab.
Okay.
Yes. So we established a new innovation center at Kivuli, somewhere in Kawangware, with Dr. Kamau.
Yes.
I ran it for 1 year. After that, I get another job.
Okay.
With one of the organizations that was building drones.
Okay.
So I'm there, I'm in charge of the power plant.
Wait a minute, we build drones here in Kenya?
We have.
And why is it illegal to import drones?
It's not illegal. It's just that there's a regulation around it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many of you think it is illegal to import drones?
You have to meet some standards.
So you have to meet some standards.
Yeah.
This standard costs money.
It costs money.
Yes.
Of course, these are some of the things that we are talking about.
Yes.
It should be possible.
Yeah.
As much as there is that money part, the money part will actually lock out quite a number of people who can't afford.
Yeah.
And that's now what we are saying, that some potential innovators will not innovate. Will not innovate because they cannot access. Maybe I can only have money to buy the drone, but not to pay for the license.
Okay.
Or even the training that I must go through and get a certification. Sometimes, like myself, I'm an engineer. I build things for the first time that somebody else has not built. And I am the first driver of that equipment that I made. I did not have someone train me how to use the equipment that I have programmed. You see, I'm the one to train the operator. So innovators are like that.
Yeah.
We chart a new path where there was none.
Yeah.
And so I don't see why we should, stifle innovators with regulation that they have to first go through all these, We can limit how much or which drone they can access, but at least let them access it for cheap, so that they can innovate.
But now there is ICT bill where they're saying if you don't have a certificate in software engineering from University X or college, even if you have a degree, you have to go through these other certification. It's quite murky to an extent that it's infuriating.
The problem is that the people who are trying to do that, there's something called gatekeeping. And that's something that has been a problem in this country.
Are you a gatekeeper before you go on?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
May I keep the doors open?
Okay.
Yes. So gatekeeping is whereby someone is standing at the door.
Yes.
They are preventing others entering. Yet he himself is just at the door.
Oh.
It's like the proverbial dog in the manger. Where in the manger there is salt. Sheep are waiting to lick the salt. But the dog is there. And the sheep are scared of the dog.
If you know, you know. Because that's very, very wise way of saying what is actually happening.
Yes.
Beside the face value of
yes. So some people are trying to ring fence opportunities away from the potential people who would come and benefit from this. They are doing it out of selfish reasons. Because that way then they can now, hike prices, hire certain people and exclude others.
Yeah.
Actually, that law should be challenged because the knowledge on computing and writing software is not exclusive to people who have gone through a university to study computer science or other related courses.
Yes.
This is something that is not exclusive to them.
Yes.
Things like electricity, like steamer. This one I agree. Even myself, I'm a licensed electrician. I went through the certification process to be able to get a license. That one I agree 100% because of the risk involved. But the risk of breaking a computer, what is there? So why are we trying to ring fence that area? Is it because people are afraid that there are some new innovators that are going to come and take over their space or what? But we should allow the innovation to actually bubble naturally so that the innovations that are coming from our people now benefit the masses. Because over-regulation will not get us anywhere in terms of innovation. And actually some of the most innovative people are not like me in companies and other places. They are just young boys and girls playing with computers and code, and soon enough they discover something or they build something that eventually becomes something big. So that should not be stifled.
Absolutely.
Even as we are trying to do, as we have seen recently, there's been a lot of, a lot of failure on some of the legislation that has come through our government and the institutions. Besides the one that just failed recently out of the public outcry, even the other one for last year was rejected because it has been unconstitutionality of some of those provisions. So actually even this bill must be scrutinized the same way with a toothpick. Every single clause must be scrutinized the same way because we cannot allow people to come into the space and stifle it and exclude others just because of a law. Laws are not made, we are not made for the law.
It's the law, it's the other way around.
Yes. We should be able to dictate our own, how we are governed. If we don't have to dictate how we are governed, then how can we be governed? We must be able to say we are not in agreement with this. And okay, it's funny because, looking at what has happened in the past, public participation has become just a rubber stamp, something that gets done so that it is done. But the output of it is not considered. And I hope they do better with this one, because if they don't, the same fate that befell the others will also befall it.
I hope, because now they have two of them. ICT bill, which was rejected in previous government. I don't know if people never learn. And now there is robotics and I don't know what.
But now, let's come back to that, robotics. Robotics, what's robotics? Sometimes people try to oversimplify things, and it's unfortunate. Because when looking at things like robotics and things like that, it's really wide. It's not a child's play. This is serious matters that must not be handled carelessly. Because robotics is very wide. It's not just robots for children to play with. These are machines in factories and other places. So, and this is what has really left us behind. Like, look at the vehicles we are driving. They are produced cheaply because they are done by robots. Are we trying to regulate robotics so that we bring those robots here or what? Are we trying to regulate robotics so that we build our own robots or what?
What's the end goal?
What's the end goal? There is probably none. And probably it's just the same thing. Selfish reasons. Because we try to understand the reason for that. You see, when you're trying to solve a problem, you first state the problem in very simple terms. This is exactly the problem I'm trying to solve. Then you'll state now your proposed solutions. This one, and the other one. But now when you simplify the problem too much and you don't capture the whole scope, you'll try to solve that problem, then there will be conflict because some things were never considered. So I would wish for our regulators to look at this more. I hope there is a way we can still contribute to these things. But if it gets to the point where they have to be challenged, definitely they will be challenged. And you can be sure.
I mean, there should be better ways actually, even for experienced people who are in the business, people who actually have really moved a step, to be able to call out some of these things. Because ideally what happens is just that some of the engineers are a bit active on social media. And they get aware of what is happening behind the scenes. If there was no social media, I could assure you, you could just be frustrated by a law that even you never knew
that it
existed. And these actually cuts across so many industries. It's just that I happen to be interested in entertainment. Also, there is a music, MCSK problems, all these problems. Comes down to that. So I think there is a lot that needs to happen there. But Chief, I don't want us to conclude this before talking about you becoming an entrepreneur. What led to you becoming an entrepreneur from the electrics business?
So I've been employed, I've worked in different places, I've done a lot of technology. My last job, I get it, and I'm now working at Kenya Breweries. Remember,
the guy who gave you the
sponsorship? They sponsored me. Now I'm working with a contractor at Kenya Breweries. I'm managing his employees. I'm the engineering manager. I'm the one scheduling which work is done. It's going to be done. I'm arranging and supervising those jobs. I'm reporting to him. I'm resolving conflicts between the company and Kenya Breweries, interfacing with the engineers, making sure things run smoothly. And I do that for 11 months. But then I get to a point where I feel that now this is, it was quite a demanding job. I think of all my jobs, that was the most demanding. Because I was managing close to 100. And, some of them, of course, they have regular jobs. But these random ones and call-outs and breakdowns, it was a bit too much for me. So I decided, let me try something else. So at that time, I leave. In November, I had no plan. So I leave. And I jumped off.
But you have a salary of 11 months, which have been good.
Life is happening, so you also don't have that much saved. So I leave, and by February, March, I'm trying to now find something to do. I unfortunately didn't get anything until June. So there is a period there where I really struggled. But then I get my first contract. It was a subcontract with one of the contractors. They were doing water for Eldoret International Airport. And, everybody is asked whether they will do this job. They don't understand IoT. They don't know what machine-to-machine communication is. Then I get that job. I get offered the job. I get started on the job.
What was this?
So what happens is that at Eldoret International Airport, they have the water pumping station and the treatment station. The distance is about 4 kilometers. And so you need to coordinate the pump at the pumping station and the treatment, because it's a batch treatment plant. It's not continuous. So you have to stop that pump, treat the water in this tank, then fill it back up, treat it, then fill back up, like that.
So
there's that sequence.
Stage by stage.
It's just a single stage, but you need to coordinate so that you don't have overflows of water in the treatment tank. So once it fills, you need to stop the pump. Once it reaches a certain point, you have to start the pump so that you fill it back up again, dose the chemicals, all that. So I did that project. I got one other engineer. We went to Eldoret, camped there for 3 months, did all the work, came back out. It was a good place. So that was my first project. And then now from there, I have not done IoT. There was no IoT, there was nothing. Because now I'm trying to find my footing. So I started doing industrial automation. PLCs, machines, maintenance, retrofitting, all that. So I did that a lot in the years before then. So I got to understand PLCs, machines, all that, shuttling between here, Nakuru, and Eldoret, Kisumu, wherever there is a job, I would get called to go and fix the machines. Luckily, I had learned PLCs while I was at Kenya Breweries. So I would be supervising people. Instead of actually supervising, I would be working with them. So when they get to do maintenance, I'm also doing maintenance with them. So apart from just being the manager, I'm also a worker. I understand how the work is done. You see, the problem with our place, I told you, people here are repairmen. They will do repairs very well.
And they're really good.
And the managers, they're actually managers. They cannot do repairs. You get? So what happens when the manager can no longer manage?
The job is done.
He's stuck. because you try to look for a job that fits that caliber of a manager, yet the job for a technician is available.
Yes.
So he can't do the technician's job to survive until the management job shows up.
And it's limited.
You know, you could be lucky, you could get another managerial job.
Yes.
But what do you do if you start your own business and you're the only person there? And the work you're trying to do is that technical work.
Yes.
You need to be able to be technical.
Yes.
So for me, I was lucky. I had done a few things.
Yes.
I had interacted with machines. We had installed a few lines. And I had gathered a lot of experience. So when I now became, it's my time to do my own business.
Yes.
It was easy. Because I was technician number one.
Yes.
Worker number
you are
one.
more hands-on.
I was everything.
Yeah.
There's a time when I was alone.
So you started a company of one?
I was alone. When I started, I was alone. One man. I only had a screwdriver.
So you were the guy who could get the... You and the screwdriver.
Yeah, the screwdriver, man.
So who used to look for business?
Hey, no, myself.
But the screwdriver does
The screwdriver was with me. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, the word out there is that, as you grow, or maybe even in employment, sometimes you tend to get this managerial kind of position.
No, it's very good.
But also be hands-on.
It's very good. You see, the problem is people get stuck and they don't know how to exit.
Yeah.
Because your exit is planning to land a similar role that you cannot go a step lower. You see now, the challenge with the economy here is that engineers, you see there's this competition between the diplomas and the degrees.
Yes.
It's been out there, watu wa diploma wanasema they are better than the degree holders. But why is that the case? Because the guy with a degree came and went to an office somewhere. He was made to become a manager. The guy with a diploma, he went to the shop floor and did the actual work. You see? And now if the guy with a degree did not realize that the actual work is not what he's doing, but rather what is happening on the shop floor, and got interested to go and gain some practical skill, very soon he will realize that he cannot survive without these other guys working for him.
Okay.
So for me, because I had always been hands-on from the word go, I refused to be a manager.
Okay.
I worked with my people.
Yes.
So we would go, we would solve issues with them. We would all be happy, and I'm happy that now I've also gathered some more experience. Apart from just the management, even my team knows if they are stuck, I'll be the one they call.
Yes.
They will not call me to tell me they are unable.
Yes.
They will tell me, come, help us, we are stuck.
Yes.
When I come,
so you
start
become
again.
a very reliable manager.
Yes, and so even my team, they trust me. Even when they get stuck, they know if they call me, instead of rebuking them, I will come and help them.
Yes.
So I became, like that, and I loved that job.
Yes.
Until that point when I was like, hey, now let me go sink my own ship.
Yeah.
If it has to sink, I have to build something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I know, of course, starting a business is not a walk in the park.
It's not.
Especially when it's you and the screw driver.
Yes.
So, how was this journey? How long did it take for you to get reliable gigs, to get,
let me tell you,
yes.
that first year I was lucky.
Yeah.
I got that big job.
Yeah.
That one, it was a safety net.
Okay.
I didn't suffer that year.
Yeah.
The following year,
Yeah.
2019,
Yes.
I suffered. 2019, I suffered.
Yes.
I would come from Juja.
Yes.
That's where I live.
Yes.
To industrial area.
Yes.
Spend the day in the office alone with my laptop on YouTube, watching videos, maybe creating some content.
Yes.
Waiting for a customer to call.
Yes.
I got very few jobs in 2019.
Yes.
That year, if I didn't get depressed,
Yes.
that would have been the year.
And I can assume at this stage maybe you have a young family.
Of course, I have a family. Right now, my daughter is in Form 1.
Yes.
So you can imagine, 5 years ago, she was in primary.
Yeah.
And I have some twins who are also in grade 3 right now.
Yeah.
So like 4 years ago, they were in,
Yeah.
they were young.
Yeah.
So I have a young family that I'm taking care of.
Yeah.
They expect me to do my duty. And you see, I've quit a job. I was a manager. I was making good money.
Yes.
So rent was never a problem. School fees was never a problem.
Yeah.
But now here I am. I'm in business. I don't know, how to go, forward. I can't quit because there is nowhere to quit to. It's my own business. If it is sinking.
So if you quit from your own business, even the business is done.
No, I even sent a few CVs. I sent the CV several times to some places.
To see if you'll get.
But the problem is, you are overqualified for every job that you're applying.
Wow. The CTOs in the room, I hope you can hear this, the senior guys, because
you're overqualified.
People sometimes
guys look at your experience and they are scared to even hire you because you might steal their idea.
Wow.
Yeah, people are scared. I know. A few people refuse to hire me because they thought that I'm too experienced for the role they are hiring me. I would find it, one, unfulfilling because I would get bored very fast. Secondly, I would learn their business so fast and probably steal it.
Yeah.
And so they didn't hire me. So I was in the cold the whole of 2019.
And then?
Then COVID happened.
Wow. So you got a proper development.
Hey, my friend. 2019 was tough.
But 2020?
2020, I started getting small jobs. Now I'm starting to get contacts, recommendations here and there, referrals, then subcontracts. Then I would do those ones. But still, though, it was nothing.
Yeah.
So COVID happens.
In April.
Now there's a lockdown.
Yeah.
Nobody's living.
Yeah.
People are starting now to get scared of dying.
Yes.
Ventilators are all occupied.
Yes.
And me and a few friends, we decided we are going to use our knowledge to build a ventilator. And we started. We started building the electronics. We went all the way, all out. Because now me, with my electronics knowledge, my friend who has similar electronics knowledge, we gathered some mechanical engineers and we would meet at Gearbox.
Okay. In industrial or Kivuli?
Industrial area.
Industrial area.
So we would meet at Gearbox. That's exactly where my office was. So we'd share my office.
Yeah.
If it is too small, we would use the Gearbox facilities. And then now we started now building the ventilator. Very soon, we attracted now different kinds of people. People, everybody is at home. So whatever that's happening, now they hop on, and now we became a team.
Yeah.
So people are working on the proposal, others are working on the funding.
Yeah.
Sisi, we are working on the product.
Yeah.
We are meeting doctors in KNH. We are making, calls every night to discuss our progress.
Yeah.
And, as we are going along, KU is also building a ventilator. Other innovators are doing the same. And it becomes now a community of innovators against COVID.
Wow.
So I meet some people there.
So even if you are suffering, at least there's someone else suffering, can encourage each other.
By then I'm not suffering too much. Okay. 2020 is not that bad.
Okay. Because
except
they
for the
spend
disruption.
on Corona or the other gigs?
No, I'm getting gigs. By then I'm not even resting.
Oh, wow.
I'm not resting. What happened is that it was a switch because all of a sudden our services now become essential. If it is an engineer,
because of automation,
yes, factories are still running, like the milk production.
Yeah.
They want our services. So by then I'm up and down, but also building the ventilator.
Okay.
But then as we are building the ventilator, I also now get to network with many more people in the space. So now my name is out there. We are doing good stuff. Kidogo, I'm getting now bigger referrals. Now, yes. Now things start now becoming different. Yes. I find my first customer during that time.
Yes.
Who we are still serving up to now.
Oh, nice.
Yes. We meet our first customer. It was a new brewery.
Yeah.
The equipment.
Yeah.
The equipment would just freeze.
Okay.
They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
We walk in, look at the equipment, understand how it works by working backwards. We don't even have a manual. There's not even anyone to explain.
Yes.
But then we work backwards. How does this equipment work? What's the step 1? What's the step 2? What's step 3? Like that.
Yes.
So we are supporting them. They have been very happy with our services up to this point.
So
that
for you,
you
would say Corona actually is when your business
It changed my life.
And that's it.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
By, afterwards we won the ASME award for innovation, yes.
Wow.
Using that project.
Yes.
And that project and COVID changed the course of my business.
Wonderful. That's why you give a lot of applause for the chief here. And you have never looked back?
No.
So what are your key projects that you have really built and some of the challenges that you face between now and then?
The biggest has been to support manufacturers.
Yes.
I've supported industries.
Yeah.
Like our customers out there, they know.
Yeah.
If they call me, I'm the last person they will call. There will be no one else to be called after me.
Repeat that again.
I am the last person they call.
At Blink Limited.
Yes. If they call me,
yes,
they know I'm the last one they will call.
Yes.
I'm the last resort, but I'm the last one they'll call.
Okay.
That is it. And that's our philosophy. Because we get the solution. We get the solution. It doesn't matter what the situation is, we will get you a solution. That's who we are.
Yes.
We have never done the same job twice. Underline that.
Yes.
We've never done the same job
twice.
Twice.
In bold.
We've never done that.
But I have a question towards that.
Yes.
As the CTO, Engineer Peter Mbari.
Yes.
Are you creating more Peter Mbaris that people will call as the last people?
I have. I have. Right now I have a team of 8. I have 3 interns, 2 engineers who have been with me for more than a year now, and 1 admin guy.
Yeah.
And an attaché.
Nice.
Let me surprise you. One of our products, the firmware running on it, was written by a student that was on attachment.
Wow.
That's how we inspire them.
Yes.
So that now, you know, that's a serious system that's running.
Yes, absolutely.
Something serious for one of our clients.
Yes.
And the firmware on that device was written by one of our a student who is still in school right now.
Yes.
He came in, he was a bit shy, but then he found his way through code. The first thing he did, he was like, hey man, this place, everyone is busy on his project. What do I do?
Yeah.
So the first thing he did, he built firmware and hardware for a burglar alarm system for the office. So we said we are not buying.
As a pet project.
We are not buying. Whatever hardware you need, we will buy. But software, fanya.
From Kiriti,
so he did that.
From Kiriti experience.
Yes, so he did that during the whole time when he was there. Whenever we have other jobs, we would go with him. But when he has free time, we'd be working on that. From that experience, he was able to build firmware for a device that we have actually, converted to value, and that we are also going to be using on other sites. So you see now, that is the kind of person I am. I am not closed up and trying to hold all this knowledge because I want to go do more sales.
Yes.
I want to go meet more clients, make more business.
Maybe even open more branches in Africa.
Possibly. Right now we have interest in Dar es Salaam. We have also interest in Kampala. Recently we were in Kampala to install some devices.
Yes.
So I want to be out there with the people.
Yes.
And the making can be done by engineers in the house.
Yeah.
My engineers can tell you here that when they're innovating, if they are stuck, I'm the last one they also call. Because when they call me, the solution is there.
All right.
So I am the one who leads, from
the front.
Not even the front. I'm in the team.
Okay.
I'm in the team.
So you're still hands-on?
I'm very hands-on.
What would you tell that CTO who feels like maybe I'm better off maybe giving the roadmap, the framework, instead of building?
It's good.
Yeah.
But it comes with some level of trust.
Yes.
You see, like myself, I've trained my engineers.
Yeah.
I've trained them.
Yes.
From when they were in attachment. Some of them started on attachment. They became interns after they completed. And eventually they joined my team.
Okay.
You see, that person, we've worked together for a very long time. So I know there is a level of trust that I can have with this person. And so I'm able to delegate. You see, being myself, I'm also very skeptical.
Yes.
and I want to be involved in every small detail. But until I've been involved in those small details long enough to understand your way of thinking, the way you solve problems, it becomes a problem to trust. Because you'll trust too early, and then you'll find a bug when time has already been spent and wasted instead of, So there's a bit of getting to know the team and having a very strong team that now allows for that level of delegation. But some projects I take them on myself because they are my direct area of experience, and maybe my team has not been exposed long enough to such challenges. So some of them I do it myself. But when it comes to things like firmware and circuit design, those ones my team handle very well.
Very nice.
Even cloud systems, things like that. But from time to time we get challenged with a machine, maybe in a factory somewhere. For me, I have a lot of experience. So I just show up with my team. I'll do it, but they'll participate with me, supporting here and there as they also learn how it is done. So that next time I can also delegate that.
Very nice. The biggest challenge you have experienced in this journey?
The biggest challenge I've experienced in this journey is actually getting customers.
Okay.
Because technical is nothing. Technical, I'll spend the night. Tomorrow I have a solution. But really getting customers is the biggest challenge. And especially getting customers who value the service that is being offered.
So there are those who want to underpay you, sometimes.
They can't afford.
They can't afford, okay.
It's the much they can afford is not enough for the value that we are providing. So this is the scenario that has been in Kenya for a long time.
Yes.
We've had devices in the market that we don't really understand what their true value is.
Yes.
I'll take an example, like a car tracking device. When you go to a technician and you're buying that, you'll ask, how much is it? Then you'll be told it's 20,000. You'll go to another one, you hear it's 15,000. And another one will be selling for 8,000.
Yes.
And our market, people have not started to realize, to ask themselves, why is this one 20,000 and why is this other one 8,000? And until now we start asking those questions, we will be able to differentiate the value that is being offered.
And would you say the value is in the quality, the value is in the...
The value could be in the quality, in the reliability, in the, all very different things. But now you find that for people like us, the kind of solutions we provide, sometimes we are building a one-off. We are building just one of that system. Yes. That's why I said we have never done the same job twice. Except now for IoT, where we are using the same solution in different sites, to duplicate. But usually, you find that industrial work, it's usually one-off. There's only this one machine in Kenya. It has only this very unique problem. So you have to solve it as that. It's not a sustainable business, but it is where we have come from to be where we are. So we've come from that kind of business to a business that is more of repeatable, a business that has, a roadmap to the future. And that's where we want to go. But this has been our strength, still is our strength. We are still doing that. But the direction we are taking is that one of sustainable solutions that we can support
over time.
Over time.
Now, I have a question before I open again the session to our audience. Have you used the Africa Stocking solution in this journey?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we are actually exploring the API.
Yes.
There's a time I was getting involved, especially at the early stages. In the year 2020, thereabout, I was looking at communication via MQTT through Africa Stocking back then. I didn't do much because also by then I didn't even have a solution. It was just an exploration journey. So I didn't do anything. I was just exploring, seeing what is around. But I'm hoping to use the same for text messages. Because some of our solutions that send SMSs, we would like to trigger that SMS from the cloud. And that's now where Africa Stocking will come in.
Very nice. So if you're not familiar with the Africa Stocking, you can access these APIs through africastocking.com. we have a really interesting community of developers. That's how actually we got to meet.
Yes.
And we are trying to empower, actually we are empowering developers across Africa, but not only that, but figuring out how can we solve pertinent solutions for different businesses, as well as ensure that the engineering that we support is at scale.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting to see what you are building, what other people are building.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to host this to ensure that, these discussions are had and people actually hear from other people's experience.
Yes.
But I'll take a few more questions from the CTOs in the house and the audience. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are enough questions. Maybe we can start there. Yes. Introduce yourself and please ask a question.
Hello, Alex Moremi, and we go straight to the question. I've heard your story, it's quite inspiring. Mostly when you stepped out and you end this decision as if this sinks, it sinks with you. Okay, so my questions comes to where I know you try to identify the persons you're trying to coach or a person you're trying to mentor. Because you have said you have like 8 guys who you can 100% rely on. So the question goes like this: being in that position, I know it's not easy, and people mostly may try to misjudge you 100% because I've seen that, and also because sometimes I feel that a lot from my friends. Okay, so how do you do when you try to help someone? And automatically they just try to black paint you or black paint your image in that position or in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging place, but you really have to, exude that kind of, there is that energy that attracts.
Yeah.
When we were doing some projects last year, you see, we are located in a community of makers. So people would be attached next door at my friend's business, and they would see what we are doing.
Yeah.
So they would get inspired, and they would take back the word to their friends.
Yeah.
So out of that, we got one who got attached with us. It was a lady. Then she took the word back to her friends.
Yeah.
Then the guys came to visit. We had like a small talk. Then like that. So it travels. The word travels.
of mouth.
Let me tell you the story of Jackson, who is here with us today. Jackson is one of our engineers.
Yes.
He's the one in charge of circuit design.
Yes.
So I'm in a small another Arduino 254 group.
Yes.
Then I see Jackson post an LED matrix, scrolling LED matrix, there's, characters passing a message. I don't know what really inspired me, because it was just a moment of like, this guy. He posts today, then tomorrow he's posted, then the next day he's posted. I need to meet this guy.
Yes.
So one of the day, it was a Sunday, I called Jackson. Jackson, hey, what are you doing? Can I come see you? He's in Moranga. He was at Moranga University.
Yes.
So I drove to Moranga, and we had, an afternoon chat with Jackson. I saw what he was doing.
Yes.
Same case. He was working from an electronic repair shop with the fundi. He's a university student, but he hangs out at the repair shop building his electronics.
Yes.
And instantly I was like, I recognize this. This guy should come for attachment. And that's how Jackson started. And now when he came, he found even more of what he was already doing.
Nice.
And there is a time when I was not doing very well. But I told Jackson, I know your talent. Don't be in a hurry. Learn. Even if you leave, make sure you leave when you have accomplished something for yourself and at least something for us. But usiambiwe saa hii kimbia, go do sijui what. Give yourself time, because I can see your trajectory. And right now, I can tell you, Jackson is our lead engineer when it comes to electronics design. And it's only because of that. You recognize them, they should be obvious. Like, people like me, you can't hide your talent. It will be obvious. And so these people, they will just show themselves.
Yes.
Don't force them, because the moment it becomes forced, it will be very difficult to do some of the things we do. Yes. Because some of them, someone who is not in that space, they cannot understand it.
Yes.
Why you could be coding midnight in the office and you still have to go to Juja. It does not make sense. So it has to be like that. It doesn't have to make sense. So even for us who are trying to inspire others, we must be able to exude that kind of energy.
Yes.
And so it starts with us.
Okay.
Then we build it, we bring that energy to our teams. And then they will reflect it back to us. And it will be like, harmonious. And we'll be doing great things together. That's now the way you are able to achieve a great team. But it takes a long time to build.
Very nice. Yes?
Hi, my name is Muhindi Asena, and I'm a software developer. I'm actually also trying to start up a company on my own as well. I have 2 questions for now, and three questions, one of them might have been answered. It's regarding marketing. But the other question was about, now, you've already mentioned what the government should do as its part in growing this specific space of IoT and a bit of robotics as well. So I, as a developer, want to take part in this movement as well. So what can we do on our part? Because we can't just wait for the government to implement the policies that favor us. So what can I do on my part as a developer or the IoT engineers in the room to progress this movement? Should I go to the next question or just?
Yeah, please ask your question.
So the last question was, as an entrepreneur, I'd like to know, would you be able to give me some sort of a replicable canvas of how to run a profitable business in Kenya, specifically Cydia Software? Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'll start with the first one. The first one, I'll say, just do it.
Yes.
Do it and talk about it.
Every chance you get.
Every chance you get, talk about what you're doing. Do it. Don't wait, even for regulation or whatever. Don't wait for it. And even if you see there is some gray areas, forget that. Just first make sure that you actually express your idea and that people in your community know. Whether it is WhatsApp groups, whether it is Twitter, don't be ashamed of marketing yourself and creating a brand around yourself. Because that brand is what will translate to your opportunities.
Yeah.
Because very soon people will start to recognize who you are, and they will start to relate you with challenges they have, and they see that you can solve them. So just express the idea, go out there and market yourself. The second one, the way to run a profitable business in this country is to start from the customer. Find the customer, find out what they need, give it to them. And if you can give it to them at scale, you are already a profitable business. Yes.
So in a nutshell, the best investor in Kenya and even maybe Africa is the customer.
You have to start with the customer.
You always pay for the value.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Next question.
Okay. My question is linked to something you said a couple of sentences ago.
Yes.
And I'm asking this question based on a conversation that I had or have had with a couple of people some time ago. So the question here is, the issue here is we have a lot of IT talent that is coming into the country. Like, guys, there's a lot. But there's 2 things. So with the talent that is coming, it's either 2 things. Either they're just coming into the job market or they are not getting places in regards to where it is that they wanna go into, or they are not having opportunities to be posted like the way you went through your journey and stuff like that. But now, based on that talent that is in Kenya or in Africa, one of the things is that we usually have this thing of where most of the things that are built are either have already been built and it's just like what you were saying, reverse engineering and stuff like that? Where do you think the opportunities are for those who are now getting skills in IT or already have the skills, and for us as an African continent using those skills to be able to build things that are genuinely solving challenges that are not only African, but also position Africa as not only a follower, but also like we're producing things that are now for the world instead of us being followers. That's my question. Yeah. Okay. Where are those opportunities?
Thank you so much for that question. It's a good one. I like that question because it brings me exactly where I am.
Yeah.
You find that in this market, there is needs, but those needs are not with the people who have your skill. The people with your skill, the people who can build devices like myself, will solve their own problems. They will not come to me.
Yes.
So myself as an electrical engineer, I have to go to the customer, interact with the customer, understand their pain, and then use my knowledge to solve their problem. So as you're mentioning, maybe this could be a challenge to the IT people.
Yes.
Have your IT like a sharp knife in its sleeve. You can code, you can do databases, you can do everything. Then take the job as a cashier somewhere.
Yes.
In a supermarket. Understand how the system works. Then use your skill to build a solution that solves their pain points. Because now you are inside, you can see the system from where you are.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find that the people who are trying to solve a problem are outside of the problem, and they don't understand it well enough to provide a solution that actually solves a problem. Like myself, I've been very successful in, sustaining this business because I am in the industrial automation space. So even the IoT solutions I'm building are for solving problems in the industrial space because I understand that area very well.
Yeah.
You find that some people in the IT space now, some of them are working in the, collection of tea. Some of them are working in the collection of milk. Some others are working with the animal husbandry people, building platforms for them.
Yeah.
But until you have walked in the shoes of the farmer, you'll not understand his pain. Until you have walked in the shoes of the tea picker, you'll not understand the pain. So choose an industry where you can immerse yourself, understand it, and then be able to provide the solutions. Sometimes, and I've told my engineers, the solution you are looking for is not, the solution the customer wants is much, much simpler than what you can provide. You are capable of providing very complex solutions. But the customer, their need is for, something much simpler. And that is their pain. So you provide them that, and that's a problem that has been solved, and it's a problem worth solving because there's someone willing to pay for the solution.
Yeah.
So as techies, we don't have to be experts at techie only. We have to be experts as also something else. So that other field that could be of your interest, that you could immerse yourself, what is it? Identify it, go there, spend some time, 1 year, 6 months, then solve it if it's a problem. If it is the, people trying to do fintech, people trying to do agri-tech, people trying to do industrial stuff like I'm doing.
Yes.
Get close to the customer, listen to them, and then provide that solution.
Very nice. Yes, sir. And then we'll come to you.
Hello.
Hi.
So my name is Peter Kirumba, and I have 3 questions. I'll just ask them in this order. First, which are some of the strategies do you use for IoT monetization? The other one is the hardware part. Well, we do a lot of hardware, the designing, the PCBs. And then when you drop down to the PCB, there's those capacitors, there's the resistors and all that. Then when you go deep inside the capacitors, there's those minerals and all that. As a hardware community, which input should we put forward for utilizing the minerals we have to manufacture these components locally? Another one, do you use databases in your solutions?
Databases?
Yes.
Yes.
How can I choose the right database?
Okay. So I'll start with the first one, is the IoT monetization.
Yes.
On that one, there's two kinds of solutions. The first one is the mass market solution.
Yes.
That's a generic solution that fits in thousands of applications. Then there is the other one that is more custom. That this is a one-off solution that I'm building for this specific purpose. These two devices will be monetized very differently.
Yes.
The second one needs much more support because it's a specific solution that might require you to build the firmware and test it on the actual system where it's working.
Yeah.
So you might have a few iterations. The other one, you have already done all the work, so there is no revisions or things like that. You have a stable device, you release it, and it works.
Yeah.
The mass market solution, the subscriptions or monetization is much cheaper. Like a tracking device, if you are providing them with a data plan, you'll of course cover that, and possibly some small management fee for running the server, managing the data on the server, providing them a dashboard, and things like that. But then now for the custom solutions, for the, these custom solutions that are tailor-made for a specific purpose, you find now that those ones are also super high value applications because those customers are willing to pay more for you to develop a solution, deploy it for them, and then support that one.
Yeah.
And it could be as few as a single site, 10 sites, 20 sites. So for you, it's for you to decide which market am I going for.
Yes.
Am I going for the mass market with this product, or is this a custom product for this client or a few clients?
Yeah.
So monetization now goes like that. Then you decide.
Okay.
Yes. The second one is about the minerals.
Yes.
That one I've not been interested in making components.
Yes.
Just maybe assembly of the boards and things like that. So that one I may not say much.
Maybe the gentleman is getting inspired with the cobalt that was coltan. Sorry, coltan that was discovered. Also during this Occupy, actually, I had a couple of discussions all over about how Kenya is rich in minerals. And the question was, by us selling them raw, we are losing a lot.
You see, our problem, we have a problem with our economy.
Yes.
And the economy is run by brokers who want to make a quick buck. That's a problem.
So
they don't see the value long-term, or how much more value we would precipitate if we had the goods being processed locally. Even for the electronics that we are trying to do, we are stealing jobs from the Chinese and other engineers in other places. Because these solutions we are providing, they would have provided. Yes, so we are actually taking back our jobs.
Not stealing.
Taking back.
Yes.
Because it's our place. We should provide that value, and we should be able to make a living out of it. So for us stepping forward and doing something with this knowledge, it is something that really challenges me a lot. When I look on social media, sometimes mostly on TikTok or Facebook, you'll find that there is a Chinese guy doing some process, maybe refining something like a metal. He's maybe crushing the rock in some place with a pestle and mortar, doing some water process to extract maybe gold. And you see, he's done that with rudimentary tools. That really challenges me a lot. Because I think the same way he's doing it with those very basic tools is the same way he can scale it to another process. And our people here, unfortunately, we are lazy. We are lazy. Like those people who grow tea, how many of them can process 1 teaspoonful of tea from their farm to the cup?
Maybe none.
Very few. Some can, but very few. But you find that most of them are not even interested.
Yeah.
And that's now where we forget where the value is. Because had we been doing value addition in different things, we would be interested and we would be asking those very important questions. But it is not in our culture. We need to start changing. We need to start to do things, from the ground up, from scratch. We need to get this out of our head, that everything comes nice, fancy in a box, to the point where we agree to be dirty, but then we learn the process. Yes.
Thank you so much. Lastly, it was the databases. And
I use them a lot. There is different types depending on the application.
Yeah.
Like for us, we are using a lot of time series databases because the data we are getting is, over time.
Yeah.
So sometimes we need to send a query that summarizes and gives you something, quickly. The other types, the relational types, maybe if you have static data, it all goes to the data that you're having.
Okay.
So sometimes, like for us, if we are managing customers and some other static data, then we'll run a certain type.
Yeah.
And sometimes we could even run 2 at the same time. So one could be handling the IoT data streaming in from the customer devices.
Yeah.
And the other one could be handling static stuff like user login, usernames, customer accounts, and things like that.
Yeah.
But then now, it boils down to the type of application that you're having.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you'll have him, and then there was someone here. Yes, we'll not take more questions from this side. We'll just take this one. Yes.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Nick Sondhuo. I'm a software developer. I got into IoT as a hobbyist. So my question is, my challenge as a software developer, maybe I've managed to drive a motor, but now when it comes to building mechanical components to accompany the motor, is there somewhere where I can go, maybe I get access to tools to design these mechanical components in Kenya, or is it just easy to outsource it in a cheaper, at friendly costs?
Very nice. So you see, it's the same thing that I have had as a challenge for a very long time.
Yeah.
Being a very good automation engineer, I see the opportunities that are there.
Yeah.
And I get challenged. Because I'm always building my electronics on someone's mechanical shell. Yes. The motor is in place, the belts are there. Everything is perfect mechanically, not electronically. So maybe the controller died, it got fried or something. Now I need to reverse engineer the controls, but I'm doing it on a sound mechanical system.
Yes.
So the dilemma you are having, I've had it for a very long time. And in a month's time, I'm relocating to an office where I'll have it divided. One will be a mechanical workshop space to build the hardware. And the other one will be now our electronic space to build firmware and circuits.
Okay.
So you can talk to me. We have capacity in-house to design mechanical components.
Yeah.
Right now we are designing a sawmill that will be fabricating in that our new space when we finally move.
Still industrial area or?
Yeah, in industrial area. Same place where we were, just relocating to a bigger space on the ground floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony. I also go by 79 Electronics on X. I have 2 questions. One is from a beginner's builder's view rather. When talking about building, rarely do anyone shed light on debugging. Being a freelance in embedded systems, saa zingine ujui kama ni software, kama ni hardware. So unakaa hapo, you just stare at it blankly and sasa sijui ufanye nini, unaomba mpaka, you know. So maybe you can help guide and that. Also, how do you choose collaborations? When choosing a team, you know, sometimes you have projects that are time sensitive.
Yes.
Sometimes you have budget restrictions. Sometimes it's skill as well. So how do you go about selecting a team? My last question, when building your projects for customers, are you very concerned about patenting your solutions? How do you keep the solution, your projects within Blink Electrics? Are you keen about another technician getting your project and maybe advancing it, modifying it, or repairing it? If you build a system right now as Blink Electrics, 50 years from now, how do you guarantee your project is still applicable to your other clients that come much later who are still willing to still input your solutions into their businesses?
Okay. Okay, so I'll start with the first one. The first one about debugging.
Yeah.
That's where now your knowledge in electronics come in. But even as you know electronics, you also have to have a problem-solving skill that helps you isolate the problem area. Because really, being able to narrow down, eliminate all other possible causes, and to the very, very, very specific one that is giving you problems, that one, it has to be something you have to build. And if you get frustrated too quickly, unfortunately, you will not be able to do much in that area.
Yeah.
Because even recently, there is a device you are building. And the device, the circuit was perfect. But the way we were installing the battery, using soldering. So the electromagnetic interference from the soldering would switch off the circuit and cause it to go into a mode that you have to remove the battery and reinstall it so that it can work. So you can imagine trying to debug a perfect circuit that the moment you install the battery, it stops working. The moment you remove the battery, you install it again, it works for some time and then switches off. And you cannot understand why. So you have to be able to see, like the way we have a Blink, Blink example. Take that example. If it's a circuit you're trying to troubleshoot, it's a high-speed circuit, test it at low speed. See how it is doing. If possible, get equipment like oscilloscopes and things like that. Also, test individual circuits as units. If it is the modem, make sure you can communicate with it directly without anything else. Because sometimes also people try to debug from your main application. You are trying to get things to work all at the same time. Before you run your main application, make sure the individual components work individually. If it is the sensor, make sure that it is giving you consistent feedback that aligns with the environment where it is sensing. So you must be able to identify or isolate different components like that and testing them individually. Otherwise, it can be very difficult. But also, you can now go to, using a breadboard to test first and then transferring that design to your main design. Yeah. The second one was? Yeah, the collaboration bit, that one is quite tricky. Sometimes it is very difficult, especially if you don't have an in-house team, working with other teams, sometimes it's hard. They're on their own time. They are doing things at their own pace. Sometimes they are not available. They hold you waiting for them for a long time. It's difficult, but sometimes that's the only way to do it. Like I've done a few projects like that. I had to grow patient. I had to start now being more patient with people, because if I became impatient, then the project would fail. I found that it would have been easier to sacrifice the time than the project, and eventually we succeeded. So sometimes I'm also very pushy. I'm pushing people to get things done quickly because I like things in my past.
Yeah.
I like to see that's done, that's done, that's done. My future is clear. If you call me in Malawi, 2 days, I'm already there. There's no project ahead of me. You know, I like to get things done.
Yes.
So when I'm now working with someone who does not have such a culture,
yes,
it becomes a bit different because now I have to be patient with them. But it's something that you have to, learn. Also now managing people, maybe they are also going through some hardship. Yeah. You have to get in their shoe.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of, learning how to work with others so that now you can also be able to get things done at the scale you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we'll take a question from Brian Kerr, who is a really seasonal IoT developer.
Yes.
He's following online.
Okay.
And he's asking a question around data security.
Yes.
So he's asking, is IoT ready for data security now, or we just build and wait for the standard to catch up? And then he also asked, or should innovators be ready for compliance, or the compliance will follow? So it's around data security.
So data security is very important. You find that some of the IoT devices that we are making are really managing or collecting data in very, sensitive places.
Yeah.
And that data, if compromised, can, of course, put some people at risk.
Yeah.
Even things like trackers for vehicles.
Yeah.
If your vehicle tracker is compromised and the data is leaking, that's a direct threat on your personal safety.
Yes.
So, things like that, we have to secure the systems. Ourselves, we have to build for the worst case. We build for the worst case. Now, compliance, definitely, it's something that we should keep in view, and we should obviously be compliant. Because again, if there's a breach and you are not compliant, that's also a big problem. Because now if you are sued, they say ignorance is not defense.
True.
You'll not be able to say that you didn't know. Okay. So it's better to be compliant and then build for the worst case.
Okay.
Not just because it works does not mean it's enough.
Yes.
You should go to the next step, secure the systems against, hackers. Also even against people who might want to copy paste your solution.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's all that.
Very interesting. And because of interest of time, I think this discussion has been very, very engaging and also useful for the ecosystem. And thank you for your time, Peter.
Yeah.
But I don't know, parting shot for the innovators and the other CTOs in the space, what you have for them?
So I would like to say that it's been a journey, a good one, a journey of learning.
Yeah.
And at Blink Electrics, we specialize in building electronic devices, firmware, and the PCBs.
Yes. And
right now, we have put together a device that's a general purpose controller. That general purpose controller is built on the ESP32. It has analog inputs, it has digital inputs, it has an LCD, it has Modbus RS485 input, it has RS232 input, it has Ethernet port provided. So it's a platform where you can use to prototype other solutions.
Yeah.
Or if you have a customer that wants a one-off solution, you can build on that platform without building your own PCB. You see, when I was saying that we have customers who want a one-off solution, that does not make sense to build 10 devices.
Yes.
So we have that platform where makers and other engineers can use to make their solutions. So they don't have to engineer the hardware. The hardware will be provided with documentation, and they're able now to build on top of that. So it has the ESP32 already comes with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We provide a GSM GPRS modem for a device.
Yeah.
And so you can build a solution given those available resources without engineering the hardware, because engineering the hardware is a lot of work.
Yes.
And even for us, that has been a game changer, because now if we have a new order, we take our own hardware, some archives of code that we have, put it together. Then on top of that, we build now the specific application that the customer wants. Yes.
Nice. So where, do you have like a website where someone or
it's
an ordering system?
blinkelectrics.co.ke.
And do you deliver across the world, in Africa,
Right
in
now
Kenya?
we are just doing in Kenya.
In Kenya. Okay.
We are looking forward to put those devices in the online shops.
Yes.
The Nerokas, the Pixel, all these ones that are selling online. Okay. As we are preparing our platform for that kind of solution. Okay. We want to provide solutions to our customers through our system, where you come and you state your wishes. See, like that contact form.
Yes.
You state your wishes there. I wish to monitor water level.
Okay.
I wish to monitor electricity.
Okay.
Like that. Then you're able to generate a quotation that now matches your the solution that you want.
Okay.
And so it's something that is in the works, not yet ready. Okay. But now for that, we'll be using this board that we have been engineering, that has been tested, and we'll be able to make those custom solutions quickly.
Very nice. What is your website?
blinkelectrics.co.ke.
Yes. Thank you so much, CTO Peter Mbari.
Yes.
Engineer himself.
Yes.
And thanks to Africa Stocking for making this happen in collaboration with Impact Masters and our audience. Please give a lot of applause for all of us. Thank you so much. Until next time, check out africastocking.com, empowering developers across Africa. You can also check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Africa Stocking, and same for Impact Masters. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's M_K_global.
Myself is at Peter Mbari.
Yes. The reason I've said this is someone actually introduced themselves and they said you can find me on X. Actually, it's not even Twitter.
Yeah.
On X at 79 Electronics.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I don't know what my director is saying. Parting shot. Okay. Until next time, God bless you. Bye-bye, everyone. And thank you, everyone.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Impact Masters. Thank you for tuning in and sharing this space of growth and empowerment with us. Remember, every step you take has the potential to create an impact. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep implementing, and most importantly, keep mastering your impact. Remember to check us out on all platforms by searching for Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. See you in the next one.